27 minutes straight, and I cut down all audio that was less than 34 decibels, and it was 49 minutes of straight speech that I just did. So,
well, hold on. So it was on the NGL, you said?
yeah.
So you know what the NGL is?
I
That's
do
what I
know
was
what
gonna
the
say.
NGL
We
is. Yeah.
finally know what the NGL is.
Yeah. We know what the NGL is.
I was going to ask you what it is, but you just spent 50 minutes talking about it. You probably don't want to talk about it anymore.
No, yeah.
And maybe all of us after this live stream should go watch your video on the NGL. Maybe that's what we should do.
That's going to come out on Friday. But
on Friday, we'll watch it on Friday.
Yes.
Put your alarms.
Yes, set your alarms Friday at noon Central Standard Time.
How are you, Steven?
I'm all right.
Your beard looks glamorous.
It does.
Really?
Yeah. You remind me, you look so you both have like the facial structure, and you also have almost the beard length of the dude that made the bird cage in his beard for the beard competition.
Oh, I remember that guy. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. People told me that before, and that was when my beard was a lot shorter. They're like, "Hey, that was when beards were." When I first started growing this, it was only in my area. It was only viewed as a terrorist thing. So I had police called on me and stuff just for having just a beard at all.
Yeah.
And so when anybody ever heard anything about a beard or saw anything regarding beards, I was the guy to be like, "Hey, did you see? Look, here's a beard. Look at this beard." So I do remember that because that was a while ago, wasn't it?
It was an awesome video. It was like 14 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So my beard, this July, my beard turns 19.
You have a birthday for your beard. It's adorable.
That's when I stopped.
I'm too impatient with mine. I'll get like a cold, and then I have snot coming out of my nose, and man, it's so annoying.
Yeah,
I can't handle it, man. Whenever it gets past a certain length and just gets itchy and everything else, and just like the mustache gets me the most because it goes mine curls inward, so I just eat it.
That's what mine does.
Rip it out.
I was so glad when it finally got long enough that like I can. It still does that, but I can like do this and it'll stay away.
Is there enough substance there where you can like wax it and twirl it? Like,
yeah, I did that to make my kids laugh once, and my oldest daughter thought it was hilarious. My youngest daughter thought it was terrifying.
Well, you can make them say whatever you want them to say once you tie them to a railroad track with your mustache like that. Oh, is my beard funny? Chugga chugga, here it comes.
Not anymore, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna be coughing because I'm hoarse, just so you guys are aware.
Well, then you'd be neighing.
I'll be.
Sorry.
Okay, the Judaizing I can deal with.
Okay.
That's like some Mike Winger crap saying stuff like that. Get that out of here.
No beards in Genesis. I don't think that's true, but you know.
I bet they were all bearded up. Are you joking?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Think Moses didn't have a big old burly beard?
Horrible joke, Steven. He just complimented you on your beard and then immediately said horrible, Steven. So
it just checks out.
Dichotomy.
He likes his body, but not his personality.
It's true. There you go. Okay, so now we got a comment last stream that it took us 19 minutes to start reading the Bible.
Yeah.
On a live Bible study.
I'm so vain. I feel like if a girl dumped me and I learned that it was because of my personality, I would be relieved. Oh, thank God. It's just me. It's not how I look.
Oh. Okay. Let's hop into it. Now, the man knew his wife Eve, and she conceived. And actually, we did finish Genesis 3 last week.
Well, y'all must
surprise,
have been going light
surprise.
speed.
I know. We still took 2.5 hours to finish a chapter and a half after you left. So I don't know if that's light speed or not.
If anyone who's tuned in who hasn't seen this show before, I hope you're not in a hurry to get anywhere. Because you're going to be dead by the time we get out of Genesis.
Oh man, you should go back and watch my Matthew streams. I was streaming by myself for half of them. I got through like a chapter and a half or 2 chapters in like an hour. It's great.
Oh, well, that makes us
Yeah.
feel great. Thank you.
I know, I know. Yeah, then I streamed with Tommy once on one of them. It was like 2.5 hours for half a chapter. So
I've seen the way Tommy takes notes, and I could see how that could do very well with your tangentiality.
he's a crazy person. He writes everything by hand, and I
Mm.
can't fathom that. But it's like his entire room is. I mean, I get that you're
I
a
do that
lawyer.
too.
Yeah, it just breaks my brain. I don't know how people can do that anymore.
I write in cursive too. Do y'all use cursive?
No.
No, I always hated cursive unless it's like to be pretty, but I write in scrawl. It's not very good writing, but
Hello.
What's up, Light Lord? Yeah, it's old school around here. I do this cursive. I went to like a real strict prep school when I was a kid, and they did everything like the 1800s.
yeah.
So we had to write like this, and we read these things called McGuffey readers. And we
Oh,
had to
I remember that.
I read those with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, congratulations to that person who writes cursive. It makes me sad they don't teach it anymore.
Yeah.
But someday when I'm in that old folks home and I'm trying to slip messages to my friends, and we
Right.
don't want any of the young people to know what we're saying.
Yep.
They're like, "Did you see the booty on that nurse?" You know, I write that out in cursive. Nobody knows what it says. Throw that to the next bed. You can sit there and laugh between our jellos.
Okay. So now the man knew his wife Eve, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain. And she said, "I have gotten a man in the help with the help of Yahweh."
Okay, pause there. I'm curious because I know a lot of people. I know my friend Ted. I know my friend Billy. How come
Oh
he
boy.
knows Eve and then she has a kid? What does that mean, Chris?
Well, Eve is the opposite gender, Christian. That's the mistake
It's
you're making.
true. Yeah,
Yeah, Muhammad
He
knew the
knew
men of
her.
Al Zub. How come none of
it's
them?
true. Yeah. So the word the new here is a euphemism for intercourse. Yeah, surprising that. It's used
And
a lot.
and the Hebrew term yada has kind of this feeling of experiential knowing. So
Yeah.
think like how when someone explains something to you, you don't really know it till you do it yourself.
You know it then. Yeah.
Then you know it. And that's kind of
Right.
more the Hebrew idea of knowing. And that's the same word that's used for the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, is that kind of
Mhm.
knowing, the yada.
hmm You have to
And I'm going to burp,
experience
so I'm going to
the
mute
good and
myself.
evil. You have to experience the good and evil to actually be partaking in it. Kind of like Romans 7, where it goes through like once you know sin, once you've experienced sin, once you've practiced sin, then you die spiritually. You like participate in the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. But instead, here you're participating in your wife's nakedness. So you're not just knowing your wife's nakedness, you're not just looking at it, but you're knowing it, you're participating in it, you're experiencing it, what it's like. Which every man who's ever had a wife can say hallelujah, amen to that.
You know what's interesting is in Spanish, there's two different kinds of knowing. You don't know any
Mhm.
Spanish? There's conocer and saber. And
Mhm.
saber is like knowledge knowing, and then conocer is to know, like, oh, I know my friend Billy.
Relationally, yeah.
Yeah. Like being
Interesting.
familiar with.
So connoisseur would come from like conscience, like being aware of something.
Maybe it's, I think it's related to the Greek ginosko, which means to know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
listen to this. So if it's conjugated for the first person singular, in Spanish it's conosco, and in Greek it's ginosko. It's like, I wonder if that's related. And there's actually more cognates between Spanish and Greek than there is between Spanish and, well, probably not between Spanish and English, but Greek and English.
Right.
Yeah. So
Greek English has a ton of them. People
it has
like
a ton, but
surprising
Spanish has
yeah.
even more. It's crazy.
Right. Or like
I
Greek,
just like to say
Latin,
real quick
and Germanic. Yeah.
that I thought I was bad, and I'm really stepping back, trying not to participate in all these these flying gin comets of tangents, and so my conscience is clear, and I hope the audience can attest to that, because I'd love to talk about what you guys are talking about right now, but I'm going to be quiet because
They're probably all commenting. I wish we could hear Steven's thoughts. He's got that cool beard. Why is he even on the stream if he's not sharing his thoughts about Gnosko? That's probably what they're saying.
We probably need to just speak amongst ourselves a lot more often than we do, and that way the live streams will be a little bit more streamlined, like a streamlined live stream, because we'll have already gotten all this out of our system. Maybe we need to hang out more, guys.
I wish we could hear Steven's thoughts.
Yes, I told you.
It's a passive.
I love it. I love it when like the chat like helps set up a joke for you. I had a
Whatever else, bros.
whatever else. It's my boy. And I had a video where it was like I was pretending to be Mike Winger, pretending to be somebody else. And it was like, and in part of that video, it was like, and the whole chess club said that they confirmed my message or something. And then like someone in the comments was like, I'm from the chess club and I confirmed this message. It's like, yes, it's so good. Like, somebody just teed that off.
You saying, "Hey, what up, nerds? Live long, and prosper." Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, there's a tangent in there, by the way. Didn't even know the
the
Spock,
live long and prosper.
that hand signal. Do you know the?
This is a cool story, but I want to let you say it because everyone wants to hear your voice.
You know it, Christian? Because
Yeah.
I'm okay. You tell it though, because I that's all I know about. That's the only thing I know about Star Trek. So I don't even know if I qualify as a full nerd. So if you know, you'll tell it better
Oh wait,
than me.
yeah, okay. So that's how you set it up for me to tell this story. I'm not nerdy enough. I'm not a big loser. So we need somebody who just like breathes through an inhaler and toots in their pants and wears suspenders to tell this story. All right, take it away, Christian Gadfly.
And there you go.
Sure. So Leonard Nimoy, when he was a kid at some Jewish service, they were supposed to have their eyes shut and not look up. But he looked up at the
priestly blessing.
Yeah, the priestly blessing. He was doing this with his hands, and I think it's the divine name.
It's they do two sheens.
Okay, that's what it is. So it's that letter that looks like the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing that with his hands, and that's where he got it. And he wanted to come up with like a greeting, so it was live long and prosper.
Yeah, if you're ever at a synagogue when they'll call up some Levites to do the priestly blessing over the congregation, and they hold their hands out with the two sheens. I forget. I'm not up to date with this, but I think it's for Shaddai, like on the mezuzah, they have the sheen on there. And so when they recite the priestly blessing from Chris, where's the priestly blessing? Numbers. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. Yeah, Adonai panecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Is it Numbers 13?
Like
I'm just guessing. It's put in Aaronic blessing.
Yeah, the Aaronic blessing. Yeah.
May he cause his face to shine upon you and give you rest,
right.
or something like that.
Number 6.
May the Lord bless you and keep 26. You.
Okay.
Yeah.
May the Lord
yeah.
Bless
So
you,
from
you,
Star Trek, that hand
upon...
symbol is he was they wanted like a hand sign for the, and he just remembered that from when he saw that in the synagogue, and proposed it, and I guess it was accepted. So there, now I've done it, guys. So you've baited me into it. I've tangentialized. And
you also have
I'm
like
one of you.
The Jewish eye, the evil eye symbol thing.
Well, don't do that at us. Another space movie with reference to Judaism is Spaceballs. Have y'all seen Spaceballs?
Yeah, I have seen Spaceballs. Yes.
There's like a race of people on there called the Druids, and they're talking about this Druish princess. Yeah. Like, that's funny. She doesn't look Druish. So stupid. I love that movie.
Oh, great! Now we're choking Chris.
Funny movie.
We're giving him the Angel Jibril treatment.
You have done that yourself. Angel,
recite.
Yeah, get back to the Bible, Chris. Read.
Read. Yo, she got pregnant, yo. Okay, so she got pregnant, and then she gave birth to Cain. Then she got pregnant again, gave birth to Abel. Abel was a keeper of the flocks because he's based, and Cain was the cultivator of the ground because he's less based. So it happened in the course.
before we speed along, so often the names mean something important in Hebrew. What do the names mean here for Abel and Cain?
Abel's like the
Isn't it like smoke?
Like
Heaven?
breath or wind, like
Yeah.
Click
Yeah.
on it. Let me see which word it is.
it's hevel.
Okay.
It's the same thing that's used for vanity in Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, it's like smoke.
Yeah,
Right.
like a fleeting vapor.
Okay. That makes sense with him getting killed off so fast. So how about Cain?
And Cain is Kanithi. She says Kanithi,
Goodbye.
like I have, yeah, kind of like
to get a man, to acquire. I've been given a man, so I've gone a man with the help of Yahweh. So she named him king for I have.
Click on it real quick. Let me see the. Oh, there it is.
Kanithi. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Okay, Cain. What is that? The
Cain.
word for like an elder, an old person?
No, that would be
No.
you would be that Zakain. That's what you're thinking
Okay,
of.
you're right. Yeah.
Which also
But
is a
just-
word for beard Zakena, I think. The bearded ones. Elders are called
Mhm.
bearded ones.
Right.
Do you think Cain had a
It's
beard?
pretty based.
Eventually,
Eventually.
I think.
Eventually.
Yeah.
So what did it mean? It just means to have or to have gotten.
Yeah, I have acquired. So I have
Okay, to
acquired a
acquire.
man. So she gave birth from Adam or Adama and gave birth, and so I have acquired from a man with the help of Yahweh. So her
Have you ever
husband,
had
I've
a
acquired
cat
a husband
named?
with Elgon.
Have you ever had a cat named Smokey?
No.
You never had a cat
I've-
named or like Smoke
I've-
or anything?
I've never had a
owned
cat.
No.
Y'all never had cats?
No.
I don't
I'm allergic.
particularly care for them. I was allergic. I don't think I am anymore, but I'm personality allergic to cats.
I
And now
have two
everyone's gonna
cats.
hate me.
Our family has two cats. It's Zelda and Percy. And
Mm.
Zelda, bless her, she is dumb as a brick.
Mm.
Sweet though. She's a sweet fat cat, but she's dumb. Anyway, I was just
Yeah.
thinking about how funny it would be to have somebody named Smokey.
A
'Cause that's kind of like Abel.
like Smokey Robinson.
little kitten said cats are awesome.
Well, you are
Cat
kind of
profile
biased,
picture.
little kitten. I mean,
Yeah. It's true.
that'd be like me. Yeah, humans are so based. Like, okay, he would say that. I mean, Cain. I don't. What would that be in English? A modern name? Gotten.
Cain?
Yeah, gotten, I guess, would be
Gotten.
probably best.
Receive.
Got him. I don't know. Be like that dude. That would be his name. Got him.
Yeah. All right. So someone pointed out that there is this idea that Eve thought that Cain was supposed to be the Messiah. That he was supposed to be the one that crushed the head of the snake.
Interesting.
Which is interesting. So I have gotten a man with the help of Yahweh. And the idea of the man here is that he is, I think it's just Ish here, but I've gotten a Yahweh
Kanithi
with the help of
Ish.
Yahweh.
Ethio, yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is she got the Messiah. She got a divine Messiah with the help of Yahweh to crush the head of the snake.
And interestingly, the word help isn't in there in the Hebrew. It's just with Yahweh. Kanithi
With
Ish
Yahweh.
Ethio.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got
It's just like direct object marker Yahweh. So
I
have
got,
gotten man
of
Yahweh.
Of Yahweh.
At
Yeah.
Yahweh. That's interesting. And you
So-
could forgive her for thinking that's so interesting because if God had just told you, hey, your
descendant
seed
will
is going to
crush the head of
crush
the
the
snake.
serpent's
Yeah.
head, I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, good.
Right.
I finally got my seed.
I'd never heard that before. That's very interesting.
That is interesting.
Interestingly, though, Cain is definitely not the Messiah, but he actually crushes the head of his brother.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of
Oh,
crushing the head of the
wow.
snake, he crushes the head of his brother.
Interesting.
So he not only does not fulfill the prophecy, he then goes on to slay the very one who is a type of Christ, which is Abel, which we'll go through with the typology of Abel. So Cain is misidentified as the divine Messiah, who then crushes the head of the real typology of the Messiah, whose lineage probably Jesus would have came through. And then, he died and he comes through Seth. So you have a pretty neat thing there. And again, she gave birth to Abel. He's keeper of flocks, so he's a shepherd. So just going through a little bit of the typology. So it happened in the course of time that Cain brought an offering to Yahweh of the fruit of the ground. Abel, on his part, also brought the firstborn of his flock and of their fat portion. So he brought a lamb. Yahweh had regard for Abel and for his offering, but for Cain and for his offering, he had no regard. So Cain became very angry and his countenance fell. So he brought a firstborn of the flock. Continence.
Sorry, I know you have your continence makes me think of like when you can't keep your
He's making poop jokes
again.
No, it's just we go again.
It's just there's a difference between the words. I realized it after I said poop. So to Chris. I was like, oh, Chris already pointed out like his voice is tired and everything. So sorry, Chris. It was just I heard that. It's like, whoa, wait, he lost his continence.
Okay. Everybody out there who's listening, try to quit thinking about poop. Stephen didn't mean to do that. He got us off track again. Last time we talked about eating poop and pee for 20 minutes. Same with the one before that. We're not doing that this time. We've grown. We're going to move on, and we're not going to make any more pee pee and poo poo jokes.
Okay. So he brought a firstborn of his flock, so the firstborn sheep, and the fat portion. So he brought exactly what the law would dictate later on. And Yahweh enjoyed his sacrifice, but Cain and his sacrifice, he didn't have any regard because he just brought fruits of the ground. So it wasn't the firstborn. It wasn't like the first fruits, and also wasn't the choiceness of his crop. It doesn't actually say. It could have been, but it's silent on that. So there'd be an argument from silence. Mm-hmm. But the idea is Abel not only brought a sacrifice that was in line with the temple system. Cain technically kind of did because he brought maybe a grain offering, depending on if he was producing like fruit or grain. It says the fruit of the ground, but I don't actually know. This is literally just fruit. But I don't remember if this is like a general term for like an idiom, or if it's literally like he brought apples or grapes.
Yeah, but fruit would just be fruit. Could be
curry.
Click on that. It's kind fruit. Of like
it's literally just fruit. This is the word for fruit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whereas it does point out though with Abel, from that word you've got highlighted, Chris, the mi bichoroth, from the firstborn.
Mm-hmm.
So probably I would think that because it points that out specifically when it comes to the flock, that Cain probably wasn't bringing the best. Just
right.
Seeing as though because that's
is highlighted, distinguished from the other one.
Right. Yeah.
So then we have my money is on papaya for the fruit that he brought. No poop talk. Why are we here? Then he asks a very serious question, Christian. Is Al-Zut on the table though, if there's no poop jokes? Because technically you kind of have to talk about poop if you're going to talk about the Al-Zut.
Oh,
they kind of go hand in hand.
Guys, I do got to say, this will be, God willing, this will be the last time that I just do one of these things that we all do. But at work today, one of my coworkers looked at me and she goes, "Hey, I know you like have studied Islam. Something, I just saw a video on TikTok yesterday that I was like, what?" And so I thought I'd ask you about. She's like, "Have you?" And I already knew what it was going to be. And she goes, "Have you ever heard of a story of Muhammad going out into the desert?" And I just started busting out laughing. So this is a person that's not in any sort of like the circle we're in, and somehow the Al-Zut story made it to her TikTok. And so it's it's out there.
The Al-Zut have a way of getting around, you know.
So that was just that was, to me, I was like, wow, this is weird. The Al-Zut is now like people are just regular Christians are going to be hearing about this
all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. I love it. That's a way to put it.
I think the internet will be the downfall of Islam. I really do think that.
Maximum penetration of the Zeitgeist.
Wow.
There is a
Wow.
new Zoot guy since Raymond Ibrahim introduced it to the world. We're living
Mm.
Oh,
in the Zootgeist.
that's great. Okay, so
Sorry, Chris.
we have Cain bringing not as good of a fruit, or not as good as an offering, because his heart wasn't in it, showing that God actually cares about our hearts. Abel did bring it, and he was rewarded. His poop fell, and then Yahweh said to Cain, "Why are you angry, and why has your countenance fell?"
I gotta say one more
Countenance.
thing about being incontinent.
Oh.
Have y'all ever seen Impractical Jokers?
Yeah.
No.
So there are these guys who do like hidden camera type prank videos, and they'll prank each other, and they make a fake focus group. I'll be quick, songs of relief, I promise. They make a fake focus group where they're selling these fake toys, and so each person makes the toy for another person, so they don't make their own toy, and then they're trying to sell the toy that somebody else made, and the other person's trying to sell a toy. And one of the toys in the focus group is called Grandpa Whoopsie. And it's like this little old man doll, and you can push a button and it shoots pee out of it. And so this guy's trying to sell this like it's a good, fun toy, and it's just this old man that pees.
This is what I'm thinking about. Yeah, man, diapers are great, man. But for giving his offering, he had no regard, so his face fell. And then, why has your face fallen? If you do well, will not your face be lifted up? And if you do not do well, sin is lying at the door, and it has desire for you, but you must rule over it. So we went over after Christian left that this word desire is the same word used of Eve for her husband. So it's not a good thing. It's not a good desire. So it's not like Eve is going to lust after her husband. It's more so she desires something she's not supposed to have about her husband. So she's desiring the position of her husband. In the same way, sin is desiring its place in our lives, and it wants to rule over us. Or domination. Yeah. She wants to wear the pants in the relationship, just as sin wants to wear the pants in our life. It wants to be, no, Jesus take the wheel, sin take the wheel. Yeah.
So I want to say something about the word for face in Hebrew. It says your face is fallen. Pay attention to that word. It's a super interesting word in Hebrew because they'll sometimes have one word, because it's an ancient language. It doesn't have as many words as our language does. Right. We have like over 100,000 words in English, and they have maybe 8,000 words in ancient Hebrew. But that word for face can be like your presence, or your reputation, or like in your midst. And so,
above something, like the surface of something. And because it talks about how the Holy Spirit was hovering over the face of the waters.
And later on, whenever there's the angel of the Lord, sometimes it's called the angel of the face of the Lord. And thank you, Chase McWilson. So it's kind of like, I think it's cool because it's like how they call Christ the image of the invisible God, and the angel's called the angel of the face of God, the Panav.
Pretty based.
Yeah.
I think the Vav there is not necessary, by the way.
That's the third person possessive.
Yeah, it's just
his
face
face
as the ruler. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have
Panav is his face.
Panacha. Yeah.
That's your face. Panecha. The cha is the your.
Yeah. Pain. I think pain just is the noun face. Pain.
Pani. Or panem.
Yeah. So
panim is the plural, and you see that a lot.
Yeah. Faces.
And in fact, I think it's the angel is the faces of God. It's
Genesis 1 is just Pene.
Pene.
Yeah. So this is the actual root. This is just
the construct. Pene. Yeah. Pene.
If
So
it's
you're
in
gonna
a
see a hey
genitive
here
construct,
instead of the old.
if it's in a genitive construct, it can be plural and the mem is still dropped.
Yeah,
So that
like
might
in
be
like
Right.
waters of would be May.
Mhm. A lot of no one followed any of that.
If y'all get lost with that, just Google it. You're on a computer. Quit being big babies.
Yeah, made me very happy
Oh,
pronouncing
this
my
is
name.
boring. We're talking about nerdy grammar stuff. Just Google it. You're on Chat GPT.
Chat GPT. Does face mean face in Hebrew?
Ari?
Oh.
Ari.
I bet
So-
modern English has more words than ancient
Yeah.
Greek. And then as far as
Yeah.
modern Greek, I don't know, maybe.
I still think it's not true. I do think there is a thing of, because Greek is an inflective language, the ordering of words don't matter as much. So if you're talking about the ways you can construct a statement, Greek is infinitely more.
Yeah. Like even-
Significantly more.
The
Even
pronouns
for
will
like a
be
single
like
sentence.
it'll be like 8 ways to say I.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah. Mm. And you can add the article like for in front of anything, and it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
the articles are just made up and they're just
Well,
for fun.
the articles decline the same way the pronouns do.
It's so annoying.
So there's like a whole chart. So back when it was more popular to do all that trans stuff, I had a on my profile on Instagram, it was like, I identify as an ancient Greek. My pronouns are autos, autu, auto, auton, altoi, alton, altois, altus. I go through all of the declensions and all of the and when you're referring to me in the third person, when you refer to me in the second person, my pronouns are and I had the whole pronoun charts for like first person, second person, third person. Can you imagine trying to talk to somebody who identifies as an ancient Greek? And every time you get their pronoun declension wrong, they just get pissed off at you. You hateful
You just did
bigot.
a microaggression.
You're speaking to me in the accusative tense, and I'm singular.
Oh, I'm grammar fluid. So you have to adjust based on my mood of the day what grammar you apply to me.
It'd be
Oh,
such
so
a nightmare if trans people use declensions in their pronouns.
No, so Dan Wallace, he's a Greek New Testament scholar. He's super, super based. If you have not gone through Dan Wallace's work, honestly, you can stop watching the stream, go through that. He has one video on Veritas, which is like I think every Christian should watch. It's like 2 hours long. It goes through the New Testament, and like I think the title of it is "How Badly Has the New Testament Been Corrupted?" by Dan Wallace. And that guy is a national treasure. He's the one who's doing a lot of the microfilming of the ancient manuscripts. So the reason why we have hundreds of thousands of manuscripts now to look through is partially because of him and his team and the stuff that they're doing. Yeah. So we have almost as many manuscripts not documented and filmed and transcribed as we have that are. So our actual total data that we're working from the ancient manuscripts are significantly limited by the man hours required to work on them. So we could actually be translating from several thousand more manuscripts. They're just not worked on yet. So he and his team have been doing that over the last like 30, 40 years. Have just been working on getting most of those documented, doing microfilm.
Has he scanned in the Sinai Bible? I'm glad you got that. That was an obscure reference.
Not that obscure. Dan Wallace does Indiana Jones type
Indiana
stuff.
Jones kind of
Absolutely.
stuff. I don't think he's eating monkey brains and stuff.
Dude, he is super based, yeah. No, the Sinai Bible for sure has been documented by, if anyone's found the Sinai Bible, it's been Dan Wallace. But he discovered over 600 ways to say John loves Mary in Greek that is proper grammar, using only agape, not even using the other types of love, just John, agape, Mary. And there's over 600 ways to say that sentence because of Greek being nonsensical sometimes.
It's exactly why I don't like Greek. I started trying to learn
I'm
it.
kind of scared that Dan Wallace might be a nerd.
Hey, let's get him on the stream, Chris.
I wish I could. I'll reach out to him, see if he's like, hey, you wanna do a stream?
Yeah.
I'd be super. I would just like sit there and just listen to him for the talk for a
Right.
couple hours. Yeah, you know,
You wouldn't
he
interrupt
is.
him to talk about eating poop and pee?
I would not interrupt him about talking about poop and pee.
Not with a PhD on here, huh? We'd all
No.
clean up our act, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Wouldn't we, boys?
No, sure. No, I wouldn't. I mean, that'd be fun. I'd definitely do some dad jokes every once in a while. He does really funny dad jokes. He knows how to work a crowd. He's awesome, dude. Anyway, so your poop will be lifted up, but if you do well, sin's lying at the door and it wants to roll over you. Then Cain spoke to Abel, his brother, and it happened when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and killed him. So again, it's the false Messiah crushing the head of the type of the real Messiah. Then Yahweh said to Cain, where is Abel, your brother? And he said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? He said, what have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. And now cursed are you from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you cultivate the ground, it will no longer yield its strength to you. You will be a vagrant and wanderer of the earth. So again, the cursing that Yahweh does in the beginning of Genesis seems to be the opposite of what all these people were designed to do. So Cain was raised to be a field worker, a tender to crop and fruit, and now it's going to be nothing. So he has no way to make money to then like barter and trade or any of that stuff, and he can't produce for himself. So now he's going to be reliant on other people, or he's going to be reliant on like robbing people, or he's just going to starve to death. Either way, it is the opposite of what he was meant to be. And
sorry. Keep going.
Go.
I was going to say, scroll up to verse 8 real quick. I want to see something. Spoke to Abel, his brother. Okay, so this must be the Masoretic text. Is that correct?
This is the Masoretic text over here, yes. So this is the Lexington Hebrew Bible, which is mostly based on, I think, like the Aleppo.
Robert Alter in his commentary talks about there's a little part here that's preserved in the Greek, Syriac, and Aramaic.
I was going to say, and then I that's why I raised my hand. I noticed Chris didn't notice me, so I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Because it's so, but here we go again. It's Christian. Christian's the bad guy. Gadflito malo.
Would you like to take this away, Steve?
No, I will cede to you. Live long and teach well, Christian.
So these other versions preserve what Cain says to Abel, and it's just, let us go out to the field. So he lures him out to the field alone before he does this. And for whatever reason, that fell out of the Masoretic text tradition.
Interesting. Is that in the Dead Sea Scrolls?
I'm surprised you didn't know that, Chris. That's why I was like, I was waiting for you to read it, and then I thought you'd get to it, and when you didn't, I thought, okay, good, we don't need to do that. Chris can just get right through. Because that's one of those things I would think you would know.
Interesting. So
I had to go there.
And it happened when they were alone in the field, is what it says in the Dead Sea Scrolls.
So they point out that there's a weird kind of an abrupt change in the text. So in the Hebrew, and Cain said to Abel his brother, and then it says, Wayomer Cain el hevel ehau, Wayehi bihiotham basadeh. So it just says, and Cain said to Abel his brother, and then it just says, and they were in the field.
It just drops out what he said in the Masoretic.
I brought up too many Dead Sea Scrolls. I've become paralyzed by the Dead Sea Scrolls.
If you need a scholarly citation for it, this is the 5 Books of Moses by Robert Alter on page 30. On footnote number 8.
Interesting. Man, I already had it ready. Huh. I did not know that. To be fair, I haven't gone that deep into the differences between the Dead Sea Scrolls, the LXX, and the Masoretics. I've gone through some of the stuff for the Masoretics just wherever it is relevant for Christian doctrine. Beyond that, I haven't gone that deep into it. most of the stuff I've compared in the Masoretics to the Dead Sea Scrolls have lined up pretty well.
Yeah, it's
But
usually pretty
to
well.
be fair, I was going through the Great Isaiah Scroll for all that, and that's like mostly identical. So the
Mhm.
only real difference is the Dead Sea Scrolls usually adds vowel markers, whereas like a yod, an aleph, or a vav for
The
the
full
different
spelling of
vowels.
words.
Right, the full spelling rather than the truncated, and then because there's also no vowel markers back then. So if they wanted to have like I don't know an etz here, they might add an aleph or so on. But yeah. Anyway, interesting.
Not a super different meaning, but I like to get
Yeah.
us back as close as we can to the original text. I mean, why not?
Right.
You know.
Yeah. And also, it indicates that they're not just the only two people on the planet other than Adam and Eve. There was probably a community at the time if he had to specifically bring him out alone, and then kill them. So, and Cain said to Yahweh, "My punishment is too great to bear. Behold, you have driven me this day from the face of the ground, and from your face I will be hidden, and I will be a vagrant on wonder on the earth, and it will be that whoever finds me will kill me." So again, there's a multiplicity of people by this point, and that makes total sense. Even if it's just Adam and Eve, they likely had kids as much as they could, especially if first man, first woman, if she's perfect. I can't imagine how beautiful she would be. If I'm the first man, I have a beautiful wife. I'm gonna, popping out the kids. And so by this point, they're probably adults, or at least I would imagine God has put them in the place where they are able to be accountable for their actions. And that age is 30 in the Bible. That's whenever priests are allowed to serve. It's when a lot of the prophets started to serve. I say a lot of, there's at least like two or three. It's when David became king. It's when Jesus started his ministry. Like 30 is a typical age for adulthood in the biblical like context. You also have like 40 and 50 as other ages of like maturity and adulthood. Which is why like
Does it ring any bells, Chris? That I feel like at age 20 is when you're allowed to go out to war. Does that sound? Is it in Exodus that I'm thinking of?
I don't
Or
remember
is
that in
that when
Exodus.
or is that when also when you're counted as when you have to pay for
Mm,
the
Numbers.
temple
So,
tax or
oh
the
yeah, yeah,
tabernacle
yeah, yeah.
tax?
That's Numbers 1-3. So that's actually part of the cross thing, wherever he has all the people line up and be in their
Counted.
encampment, and that counts all of the
Oh, okay.
able-bodied men. So
Mm,
that's 20 and under, or different from 20 and older, which is also interesting because David went to war before he was of age. So
mm.
they didn't stop men from going to war at that time. You were just expected to be able to serve in the army at that point in time. So, yeah. Which is also kind of interesting, the fact that you're able to serve in war, but you're not counted as a full adults. And the same thing happens nowadays. Like you're 18, but you can't drink,
Yeah.
but you can go to war and die, and like the whole thing. But yeah, so even if it is like 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, and then this event happens, which we don't know when that event happens. The only time that we know is when Seth was born. And if you subscribe to the idea that the earth is young and that there's a 7,000 year prophecy of 6,000 years of man's reign and a millennial reign of Christ, if you subscribe to that, the only way you can count from that would be from the death of, or like from Seth's birth backward, sometime during that reign of 90 years, sin entered into reality. So you'd say from 60,000 or 6,000 years after sin started, you go 6,000 years, that's whenever Christ will return. Because we don't know that when that happened, we don't know when Christ is going to come back. It'll
Mm.
probably happen on some form of Rosh Hashanah. But again, we have very little to go off of when he's exactly going to come back. Especially because even though Jesus used the idiom for Rosh Hashanah of you don't know the time or the hour, because you have to see the moon to be able to establish the time and the hour, uh, it might not be Rosh Hashanah.
Mm.
Who knows? Yeah. Anyway, I held to that view for a very long time as a kid. I don't hold to it nearly as strong now. And now I'm just kind of like, we'll see when we see. Either way, we're called to go preach. Whether or not I know the end is going to happen tomorrow, the way I live my life really shouldn't change that much. I should still
Right.
be serving the kingdom. I should still be doing the will of the Holy Spirit, whatever He has for me. It doesn't matter when Jesus comes back. It matters, are you following the will of God in your life or not?
Mm.
But yeah. Anyway.
I see something interesting in verse 9. Sorry to take us back, but where he says, the Lord said to Cain, "Where's your brother Abel?" And he said to him, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?"
Mhm.
I'm looking at the Hebrew. It says, "V'yomer lo yedati ka shomer achi anochi." To me, that looks like he says, "And I don't know guarding my brother I." So it looks like it doesn't look like a question to me. I might be getting all this grammar wrong. Stephen can fact check me, but it looks like he's saying he doesn't experientially know guarding his brother.
So Wayomer, he said, "Lo yadati." I don't know. And
Yeah. I
then
don't know.
Hashomer achi anochi. So yeah,
Mm.
the ha before shomer is not making it the keeper. The ha
Mhm.
is because you see
Is it a
the
participle?
it's the patach with it's the shortened one. Which means that that hey in front of shomer is a question. It's like a question mark.
Oh, okay. So keeper of brother
Am
am
I?
I? Okay.
Yeah.
Am I? Yeah.
If that had the chamatz under it and the dagesh and the sheen, then it would be the keeper of my brother I am. It would be a statement.
Mhm.
But
Uh-huh.
that hey there is the question mark, basically.
Okay. All right. Y'all can
Mhm.
continue where you were.
Right. And most of this in spoken Hebrew would just be the inflection of the voice. So you would
Mm,
end your, anachi at the end with anachi or
mm.
something like that.
That's what you have
So
to
it's
do in
still inflected.
Spanish because you can't say something like,
Do
did you
you?
do the
Yeah.
dishes? There's no
Right.
did.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
say.
You did the dishes? You did the
Yeah,
dishes?
You
that's
did
how
the
you say
dishes? You did the
it.
dishes? Yeah. Are you? But there's no R. So it's just you?
You?
Yeah. It's interesting. We have the inflection still a lot of the times when we're speaking, but we still have the actual set words for questions.
Hmm.
Japanese is funny because they just add ga at the end of any sentence and it becomes a question. So you say the exact same sentence, you add a ka or a ga, and it becomes a question.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you guys
So,
about Greek is because, like when it comes to, I've heard that the accents on words, which that's one thing I like about Greek, because you get like a 26 letter word and you think, oh my gosh, how am I gonna, where's the emphasis in this word? But you'll get the accent marks on them. But I've heard that in Koine Greek originally, that also had like an inflection. It was a raise in pitch, and so that Greek was a very kind of melodious language. Is that? Do you guys know anything about that, or in your learning of Greek, do you incorporate that at all, or is it more of just for the purpose of being able to read it?
I just use it for where to put the accent. So
Mm,
I don't do any pitch changing because of it. I maybe I read that they did that a long time ago, or that we're not sure what they used to do.
okay.
mm,
But I
yeah.
don't remember that. It is making me think of though the scene where Pilate asked Jesus, and this is why I think Jesus spoke Greek. There's a bunch of
Mm,
reasons, but this is one of them. Is Pilate says, "Are you the king of the Jews?" But in Greek, it's just that phrase can be the statement, and Jesus and in the Synoptics and in John has this same conversation with Pilate, so it's almost certainly historical. Where he says, "Are you the king of the Jews?" and Jesus responds, "It is as you say."
Oh,
And
interesting.
that only makes sense in Greek because if you do it in Aramaic, it has a question demarcation
Uh,
in the sentence. And so it wouldn't work for Jesus to say it's as you say. But in Greek, it does make sense. In
or
Greek, the
unless actually
question is
though,
the same as the statement.
you bring up. It's funny that you bring this up here because the question for uh well, no, because there would be the construct. Never mind. I was thinking because it would be Hamelech Hayhudim Ata. And that ha there would also could be the, or it could be the question mark, like we saw with Hashomer here.
Well, in
If it
any
was
case, I
Hebrew.
doubt Pilate spoke Aramaic.
Oh, well, good point.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
there's
Yeah.
a really good point. That's okay. Yeah.
It was expected that the people, the citizens, would learn at least Greek, if not Latin, to be
Mhm.
able to talk to the officials and the soldiers. Because if a soldier is yelling orders at you and you're a slave to Rome, you better know what that soldier is saying to you.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
Galilee was heavily Greek influenced. You have the
Right. Yeah.
Decapolis to the southeast, and then you have Sepphoris was just a couple miles west of Galilee. It was a big Greco-Roman city. The whole
Turkey
area
just
had
north of
been
that.
under
And
Greek occupation for 300 years. So it would
Mhm.
be like everyone would be bilingual. It's like towns on the border of the U.S. and Mexico where people speak
Mhm.
English and Spanish.
Greek is sing song. Why didn't Allah have his Mo spit hot mad rhymes in that language instead of Arabic? Yeah. Yeah, you can say the same thing about Korean. Like every sentence in Korean is a poem, which is pretty based. And the same in the way that, like, because they write in 3-syllable pairs. So they don't have characters the same way that like Japanese and Chinese have characters. They more so have independent symbols, and you put 3 symbols together, and that becomes like a subset of a word. And then you typically have some like poetic rhyming or structure to the sentences that you're saying.
The
Just
silliest
pretty
sounding language out there, and I hope this doesn't offend any viewers, is to me
Cajun.
Vietnamese. Vietnamese sounds so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people speak Vietnamese, it sounds like somebody making fun of like Asian. Like when
Right.
people are trying to imitate Chinese here, that's what Vietnamese sounds like. It sounds like people trying to exaggerate Asian languages.
Yeah. Speaking of which, so Songs really said, "What you know about Japanese too?" I was just saying the same thing. She made a comment of,
Japanese
Japan
is
ends
way
with
more
a
soft, and it
yeah,
doesn't grate your ears like Vietnamese.
yeah. So I
The
studied
vowels almost sound like Spanish to me.
right.
Japanese,
I
and
studied
then
Japanese
Chinese
for a
just sounds
bit.
like a whole lot of sure, 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 sure. Like a bunch of sh's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
their tonal languages get me. But for like my Japanese experience, it's like Hajime meshite, Chris des, America jen des, like very somewhat basic, but like I'm a weeb, so that helps a little bit. But I can watch anime without subtitles. I choose to still have
Oh
the subtitles
wow.
on because of like nouns. But I've studied and been around Japanese for about 11 years now.
Oh
Um,
wow.
Hopefully I'll eventually be able to do like a mission trip to Japan. And then like be able to preach in churches and all that stuff. But yeah, as far as like the nerdy stuff with languages go, Japanese is the one I probably know the best. And then Hebrew, Greek, German, Spanish, Arabic.
Are you gonna
So,
be coming on here with cat girl ears next time?
oh yeah, you say that, but
Oh no.
Chris, would
What's
you
about to happen?
I don't know how to say this in Japanese, but if you want to enlighten the viewers, would you kindly mute me for a moment while I go
to the
attend to
toilet.
something, figure something out? There's been a disturbance in the force.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know how
Mm.
about you said it in
I do kind of have that.
Japanese, but in Spanish it's el tiene que orinar. Or you could the silly way, el tiene que
baño.
hacer un pipi.
Un pipi.
It's gonna sound like a little kid. El tiene que
Yeah.
hacer un pipi.
Yeah, toilet is toilet, or it's essentially because they don't do L's, so it's still toilet. So most of Japanese words for like anything semi-modern is just English words for it, and there's no L's.
But it's an
So
R instead of an L. Are you about to say something
Yeah.
racist?
So
Are you
it's
about to say
it's
something that
tori,
sounds
tori,
say how they
Yeah.
would say toilet, Chris.
tori, or someone like instead of saying smartphone, they say smartphone. Just
I wanted to hear you go toilet.
toilet.
That's trying to set you
Which,
up.
if you're talking to Japanese people, it's actually significantly easier to talk in a stereotypically making fun of Japanese accent because it's easier for them to understand than if you were to just talk
It
in normal
actually makes
English.
sense.
Yeah. So if you say like,
That makes sense.
yes, my name is Chris. Thank you so much for having me. You do stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, no, I got that. Good job. Yes.
That
Yes,
sounded
yes.
like Watto from the guy who sells pod racer parts. Do you know what I'm talking about from episode 1?
Handsome Menace.
Hey, you want to make a deal?
Yeah. Hey, Aniki. I think your Jedi friend here is going to lose everything. I'm going to end up owning him by the end of this week. Yeah.
Wow, you were too good at that.
Watto.
There's a channel called Red Letter Media, and they do a video making fun of that movie, and they talk about, we really support George Lucas. He's real into diversity. He's got Asians, and it's just like this the two the way he loses the Asian accent. He like goes through all the different races. It's just the different how the aliens are all like racist stereotypes.
Yeah. Most of them are Asian too. Like this is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them.
Yeah.
What are you doing, my guy? It's
And Jar
crazy.
Jar.
Yeah. Misa no line. Oh, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So, long language tangent aside, and Steven is back. No, my favorite part is since he can still hear us while he's peeing, my goal is to say something obscene while he's peeing and make him miss. Like he
Spray
laughs
all
too
over
hard
the
and
wall.
like sprays out of the toilet of the toilet. Yeah.
I leave for 1 minute, and all of a sudden, we're pointing out how racist Star Wars is.
Racist is not racist.
No. It's
Star
just
Wars is based-
pro-diversity. It's pro-diversity.
No, I'll
Yeah.
never forget when I was a little kid and we went to see
Yes.
episode 1. And at the beginning, they
Dude,
have those
same.
two
The Asian
yes, and I
diplomats.
was like,
Yeah, the diplomats.
and
Yeah.
I think I was only like 12 or 13 years old, and I'm like, it just sounds like they're
thank
making
you so
fun of
much.
Asian people. Yeah. And I
Yes.
was like, it doesn't even seem creative. Like, and it seems kind of insulting. Like, are there Asians sitting in here right now going like, it's
I
just
didn't
very
even
weird.
notice at all. So I was doing those voices all over everywhere. Like, probably offending everybody.
the representatives of the Senate.
Yeah. Didn't they even have like robes on and stuff? I thought like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they had the full headdress, the full robe.
yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, this
Yeah.
doesn't
If
feel
they
very
bow,
like
I think they did bow at one point, but like if they
think so,
bowed
too.
or if they greet you, it's like, brother, pod racing.
do you run out of like cultures to create? Like you can literally make up anything about these people, and you just said like, oh, make them
Yeah.
seem Japanese.
I mean, the original movies, ironically, like everyone was just white,
Yeah.
and then he had to make up for it in the prequels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black sabers, not black sabers, purple sabers.
No, that's Spaceballs.
Although the black sabers do exist now.
I see your Schwartz is as long as
Yeah.
mine.
Oh, you're powering the Schwartz.
Mel Brooks, that guy. He's one of those old timey like irreverent people where it's like it's brilliant, but it's so irreverent that you don't know how to feel about it. It's like, this
probably
is so
my
truly funny, but also yee.
one of my favorite all-time movies is the musical version of The Producers. I watch it at least once a year. I just love that movie. It was directed by Mel Brooks and written by him.
Mhm.
All right. Well,
All right,
Back to work.
back to the Bible. This conversation has more drifting than Fast and Furious. The third one, Tokyo Drift. Yeah,
yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
7,
13.
8, 9. Yeah. So Yahweh said to him, therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance and will be taken on him sevenfold. And Yahweh pointed a sign for Cain so that no one who found him would strike him. Now, I am going to go on a tangent, but it's actually a related tangent. So I believe it's Mormons, use this as a sign that black people are cursed to hell.
Yes.
Because they say that they inherited the mark of Cain and that dark skin in general, including the dark skin of the Native Americans, because Joseph Smith thought Native Americans
Yes.
were Jews. He thought they were Jews who were cursed with dark skin. So both the blacks and the Native Americans were cursed with black skin or darkened skin because of the mark of Cain, and that means they go to hell.
But in 1978 or 79, I think,
Then
God
it was
changed his
it was
mind.
great. Yeah,
because
God changed his mind.
Because God is swayed by Western racial movements, and he was finally like, it was about 15 years after the original civil rights movement, and the Mormon God was like, maybe they have a point.
Maybe black people are human. Yeah.
Okay, let's steal me and them for a moment. Okay.
No.
What? What part of that sentence doesn't say it's referring to black skin?
Because it is a benefit to Cain that he doesn't get murdered. This is a blessing that Yahweh is giving to Cain.
My question is so stupid. I said, what part of it doesn't say it's... What part of it does say it's referring to black
from
skin?
silence, yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and say what you were saying. I just had to point out how stupid my own question was.
Yeah. To debunk that doctrine almost immediately, this is not a curse. The mark of Cain is not a curse, guys.
And it's
a
just
blessing.
For Cain, too.
It's just for Cain. It's just for Cain. And it is a blessing to give him life, to protect his life from being slain by those around him. This is not, I'm going to curse you with black skin.
Click on the word for sign. I want to see what it is in Hebrew. And then
I think it's ot, isn't it?
Ot.
Oh,
yeah,
weird.
ot.
Okay.
It's the same symbol for letter.
Yeah.
So every letter is a sign.
Well, that's like the same word for when Moses is doing signs, like in the Exodus.
It's also where Eot comes from. So Ot and Eot. So a sign, a miracle.
Anyway, I interrupted you.
In Arabic is the
same. You
same
were saying
thing.
Something cool. I don't want to have interrupted you from what you were saying.
It's fine.
It's a blessing, not a curse.
It's a blessing, not a curse. And it's a miracle. It's something that they can see, that they can visibly understand. And be like, oh yeah, no, we shouldn't kill that guy because he has that on him. So it's like a protective sigil, although it's not like witchcraft, that will protect him from death. So all those are like, it's a, like, even in Islam has the same thing, where Islam, it's slightly different because it is Ham having intercourse in the ark. That's the reason why he was cursed with black skin, but still the Hamite curse through that. So if you want to be like, Cain's lineage ended in the flood, but you say, Cain's lineage like spiritually kept on in the Hamite curse of still black skin, which doesn't mean like even just thinking about the Mormon doctrine there doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because Cain's lineage ended. Unless you're going to say that the wives of the sons of Noah were Cainites.
They also, though,
there's no Cainites.
Remembering
left.
correctly, it's been a long time, thank God, that I've had to discuss this with Mormons, but I believe this was kind of the earthly manifestation of what took place in the pre-earth celestial realm, because in Mormon theology, Jesus and Satan are brothers,
right?
And
they're
it
both
was
kids
asked to
of
them,
Heavenly Father Elohim,
right? And so, which one of you wants to be the Messiah? And Jesus volunteered, or there was a vote, and everybody who voted for Jesus became the white people, and everybody who voted for Satan became
the black people.
The black people. Yeah, I mean, it's totally twisted. I mean, it's just, and there's no, they don't even have a good thing for except like in the late 70s, God changed his mind and
changed his mind.
Yeah, that's it. That's about it. But it's so just obviously stupid white Joseph Smith Jr. just blatant racism being written into his religion. I mean, it's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I've been reading Jung, who's like this psychiatrist from the 50s. And in his book on synchronicity, he's talking about how there's a whole lot that happens in our subconscious that influences our conscious mind, and we don't know it, and we don't realize it. And so for me, just because I've just been reading that, I'm seeing this, and I go, and Yahweh appointed for him a miracle, right, for Cain, so that no one who found him would strike him. I'm wondering if he made it like a miracle where anyone who encountered Cain, they would kind of be disarmed a little bit and not want to attack him, just as some kind of subconscious influence. But I've met people before, and like as soon as I met them, I already like loved them. Like really, like I've met people and it's like we clicked so fast, and then we've been friends. And then I've had it the other way too. Like I met one of my wife's coworkers. I'm not gonna say her name. I almost did in front of God and everybody. But like this person, I immediately did not like this person. And then I was like, that's kind of weird. And then for like the next 2 years, this person was so mean to my wife. And like when I wasn't even there, it was like, how did I pick up on this person being a jerk that fast? But it's like that weird animal part of our brain, the subconscious, will like pick up things that you don't even know with your thinking mind. I'm wondering if the sign of Cain was something like that, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I do want to point out one thing.
Purely supernatural or not physical, you mean?
Yeah, like it's just something where when people interacted with him, Yahweh made it where they would like never go to the place where they'd want to kill him.
Yeah. So I do want to point out one thing that's interesting here. The sign, as you pointed out, is in Olds. There's another place in the Old Testament that's super, super based, which goes through a sign being given to people. It's Ezekiel 9. So then this is talking about the destruction of Jerusalem. And he cried out in my hearing with a loud voice, "Draw near, O executioners of the city, each with his destroying weapon in his hand. Behold, 6 men were coming from the directions of the upper gate, which faces north, each with his shattering weapon in his hand." It's also the facing of Rome. And among them was a certain man clothed in linen with a scribe's cast in his lines. Granted, it's like northwest, but still, they came from the north. And they went in and stood beside the bronze altar. Then the glory of the God of Israel went up from the cherub on which it had been to the threshold of the house of Yahweh. And he called to the man clothed in linen at whose loins was the scribe's case. Broke my brain for a second. Yahweh said to him, "Go through the midst of the city, even through the midst of Jerusalem, and put a mark on the foreheads of the men who sigh and groan over all the abominations which are being done in its midst." So this is the people who faithfully follow Yahweh. But to others, he said in my hearing, "Go through the city after him and strike, and do not let your eye have pity, and do not spare. Kill to utter destruction old men, chosen men, virgins, little ones, and women, but do not touch any man on whom is the mark, and you shall start from my sanctuary." So they started with the elders who were before the house. It's also kind of based that the elders are the ones in front of the temple. Just neat little tidbit there. But this mark in the Hebrew, as you can see it, is tav or tau. This is how you spell out the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So you're putting a tau on the people, and in the pictographic Hebrew, in ancient Hebrew, in Proto-Sinaitic, this symbol here would be a cross. But if you have it spelled out, instead of it just being a cross, it's a cross and a nail. So you have a nailed cross representing the mark on the foreheads of the men who faithfully follow God, who will then be spared death.
Yeah, so
if they have the mark.
Go back to that word for tav, and I'll tell your audience. So see that letter that looks like a staple that's busted on one side, that he has his mouse over, that would be a cross shape. And then the one to the left of it, so you read right to left. So if we go to left, the one that looks like a nail, that would be just, it still looks like a nail in Proto-Sinaitic in the ancient.
Right.
Yeah.
This kind of still looks like a nail here. So the only difference between this and what would actually be is you just have a little tidbit to the right.
The one on the right would be a cross.
Right. This would be a cross, and that would be that. I did a bunch of streams on this already, but this is the cross of Christ on people's foreheads to identify those who faithfully follow Yahweh in Ezekiel. That's pretty incredible. This is different from the mark, the sign that was on Cain, which is just it's just a letter. Interestingly, because this is literally just a letter, because that's what it says is a sign, but it just means letter in Hebrew. In the Midrash, I believe, of Bereshit Rabbah, it talks about what letter was placed on Cain, and it says that the tau was
Oh,
placed on Cain as a
that's cool.
sign to protect him from death.
That's cool.
So Jewish rabbis extrapolated either, accidentally or from Ezekiel, and they said that the sign, the letter that was placed on Cain to protect him from death was the same one placed on those who followed Yahweh when the city was destroyed. So that's pretty based. Pretty cool.
There's an interesting parallel here. If you compare this with the fall in the garden, where there's an interrogation scene. So, where is Abel, your brother? That's like Yahweh asking, "Who told you you were naked?" And then it goes into a curse, but then Yahweh having some kind of mercy. So like he makes them clothes for Adam and Eve. That's kind of this mercy. Here you go, well, what's good about Cain? Well, I don't think there's anything good about Cain, but the Lord's merciful. And so, yes, he's going to be a restless wanderer. But and then when he says my punishment's too great to bear, he gives them this little grace and says, you're going to have a sign and they're not going to kill you. And then, yeah, I don't know why I said and then. That was my whole point.
That's super based. Paul and Emily, if I pronounced your name right, said that it is in fact the first temple destruction, not the second. In my head, Ezekiel is after, it's the exile writing, but you're right, it's before. So, as Babylonians come in, destroy them, which would be southeast, not northwest. Good correction. Good point out. But anyway, still super based passage, super based dingy ding right there. Not black people being cursed. It's definitely not that. Then Cain went out from the presence of Yahweh and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden, which would be India / Pakistan. Then Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and gave birth. Granted, that's if the earth wasn't restructured by the flood. If you're a young earth guy or a global flood guy, and the Pangea did split, it might be that Pangea but even then, even with Pangea splitting, the Hindu mountains were formed by the Indian subcontinent being smashed into Asia. So you either say that it's Asia and it's like China / Mongolia, or you say that it was India / Pakistan. Either way, that would be the east of Eden, even with Pangea.
Ask IP what he thinks, because he's I used to be way more loosey-goosey, less literal with everything about this, but I actually do think that there might have been a land of Eden, and he places it within the Persian Gulf. And if that's true, then it would make sense for people to go east of Eden, because there's all kinds of land east of there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, and also too, though, that with this being pre-flood, the entire geography of the planet's going to be, well, unless with that, are there people that, I guess there are people that don't take the flood as a global event, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a local.
So I
Okay.
see it more like the end of the last ice age. So the Younger Dryas, the end of the Younger Dryas, because there's a huge flooding event.
Right.
Like meltwater pulse 1b and all that. So about 11,000 years ago. And I think that's when the Persian Gulf got filled up too. So
it was most of Europe and Central Africa, or like Northeast Africa and Turkey, like so. I believe it's all that section that got flooded. And
I was gonna say you can keep the Bible super literal and not be bothered by that, because you have to read it through the eyes of an ancient author. When they say kol ha'aretz, all of the land, they're not seeing this globe floating in space in their head. They're looking out at the land.
Everything you can see.
Yeah, everything you can see was flooded. Yeah.
The only difficulty with that view is above the mountain tops. And so you can actually hold the end of all flesh if you hold that it is regional but universal, where all humans were congregated in that area at the flood. So then after the flood, people spread out over the whole of the land, but before the flood, people were concentrated near Eden.
Humans always live
at Eden,
coastlines.
And it was spread out.
Humans always live on coastlines, so it was probably devastating to the human population.
Right. But if you want to believe the Bible as it says that all people died except 8, you can actually be a regional or a global flood person and still have that view. You just have to
Okay.
advocate for its regional universal, and that there just wasn't much life beyond where humans were congregating. And then you can also
Which
hold
would
that the
probably
global
make
flood
sense.
killed everyone. Right. The only difficulty for me for the global versus regional is I think we have really good evidence for global flood, surprisingly, actually. But it is in the Bible's description, the water goes above all the mountaintops in the area. So even if you say it is regional and that it's just the land that you're seeing within the horizon, how is the water raising above the mountaintops? And if you say it's metaphorical, not literal, I think the language used there doesn't aid as well to be metaphorical. It seems to be more of an accounting of events rather than a hyperbole of events. But either way, you can
Well,
hold either position. It's
and
fine.
with sending out the birds to bring back finally a sign of life.
Right.
Uh,
Why would you need to do that?
right.
Right. Because you would expect the plants beyond the flood zone to
Right.
survive and be fine. Yeah. Man, you have a crazy person in your chat, I think. He's drowning out my chat in StreamYard. He's just the Astrid of truth. Is just dude is oh yeah, no, he's interesting. Here's some wisdom for your channel, brother. I can tell in my spirit you truly do care, and you try to tell the stuff as best as you're allowed to. Take a page from this book. And then he went on a very, very long tangent in your stream.
Oh, do we have overlords that don't allow us to?
I have no idea. Anyway, I was trying to repeat chat. It was just that. Anyway.
If there were lizard people controlling me, I'm not going to talk about it because they're not going to allow me to. So I'm not even going to go there.
I can make it crazier.
There's two kinds of trolls. There's those that are off their medication, and then there's just people that want to have fun. There's the Batman movie, whenever they're trying to figure out why the Joker's doing what he's doing, and Alfred's talking about that jewel salesman who would just throw the jewels, or he was jewel robber. He says, "Some men just like to see the world burn." That's the other kind of troll. They just want to see the world burn.
Right. Okay. So then Kane, also I know Bean personally, and they're a pretty funny person. And then there's me with the halo. Then Cain went out from that presence, and then Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and gave birth to Enoch, and he built a city and called the name of the city Enoch after the name of his son. So he knew his wife, again, in a biblical sense, literally. Now, Enoch was born Irad, and Irad was the father of Methuselah, and Methuselah was the father of Methuselah, and Methuselah was the father of Lamech, and Lamech took for himself 2 wives. The name of one was Adah, and the name of the other was Zilha. And Adah gave birth to Jabal, and he was the father of those who live in tents and have livestock. And his brother's name was Jabal. He was the father of all those who play the lyre and the pipe.
Yeah.
As for
I
Zillah,
play the bagpipes. Also, did y'all know that?
I've seen you do it in a video before, I believe.
Yeah, I play the Scottish Highland bagpipes.
Yeah. After your video, after your
Trinity video.
No, Chat J Pizza, the end of the the Billy
Who's
Corson
the father
video.
of the bagpipers? Scroll back up. I know it's not talking about bagpipes, but
Jubal?
Jubal, that's my boy.
Christian, do you make reeds for those, or do you buy them?
I buy them.
Oh, okay. Gosh darn it. Because I don't know how this always happens, but every time you mention something, I have this. And
is that a practice chanter?
Well, no, but I mean, sort of. This is the Middle Eastern equivalent.
Oh, that's a snake charmer.
Sort of.
That's
but
what that
so I tried to make a reed. I can't find anywhere to buy them anymore. So I tried to make it out of a drinking straw, and I got somewhat successful, but because it's plastic, when you're playing it bends out of shape again.
Give that thing a toot for the chat.
Well, let's see if it's still.
Charm all the snakes out there. Hey, that sounded
There you
pretty
go.
good.
Yeah.
So it only lurks for so long because once the straw gets warm with your breath, it doesn't read anymore.
Yeah,
So
you
I was
might need
wondering
to
if you
buy a
make
real
reeds,
reed
if
for
you could
that.
maybe make me one. That would be super cool because I
If you
can't
put
find
a
anywhere that
if you put
I
a
think I can
bagpipe
use
reed
an
in that
oboe
thing,
reed, but
sorry, go
uh,
ahead.
oh, I was saying I think I can use an oboe reed, but you have to trim it down. Normally they're only like that much, whereas an oboe reed is kind of longer. And I think you rest the oboe reed when your lips. That one goes full in, uh, so kind of like a bagpipe. So that's what I was saying. Maybe if you could mail me a bagpipe reed, I could experiment
I
with.
will warn you, they are loud.
Yeah,
They're,
yeah,
they're
that's
louder
very
than
loud
you're
when it's.
realizing, and they're hard to blow. I mean, you're gonna have to just like,
Mm.
which would look so funny on a little snake charmer.
So Chase said, "Here's my jizya. I need all three of you to do a Liam Neeson impression for the next verse."
Okay.
That's
So
funny.
it is verse 23 right here. So it's been a hot minute since I've seen anything with Liam Neeson in it.
This is
Do we
from
want to play a clip of him real quick so we can
what's that
remember?
movie where it is Taken? I think it's
Taken?
called Taken.
Yeah, Taken.
Yeah, yeah.
That's such a
I've
good
heard
movie. And
you
then he
have
also is a
skills.
voice actor in
Skills
Fallout
to make me a
3.
nightmare. Yeah.
In Fallout 3, I think he's like the dad or something. I remember him reading a verse from Revelation in that game. I was like, man, this is so cool. It sounds like Liam Neeson. I looked it up and it was Liam Neeson.
Based. Okay, I guess I'll throw my hat in the ring for a second. So, and Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice. That's teetering into my.
All of your
Asian-
voices sound like Watto from
I know,
the first
I know,
episode of Star Wars.
I know.
You want to buy a
This is wrong.
Gawanga?
I have a particular set. No,
That's Indian.
what is Liam Neeson taken speech?
Well, he's he throws me off because is it he's English, isn't he? Is it
Yes.
because
Scottish?
when he talks, it just kind of comes across as something unique, but it doesn't come across as like a okay.
I don't know what you want.
I don't know what you
If you're looking for
I
ransom,
don't know what you want.
I can tell you I don't have money.
I don't have
But
money.
what I do have are a very
It's a particular
particular set of skills.
Yeah.
Skills
Just
that I've
kinda low
acquired
and
over a very
grovelly.
long career. Skills
Yeah.
that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now,
All right, I don't want to play too much.
So
of the
we'll
movie.
go back to it. We'll do our best.
Let's do our best.
Actually,
Skills.
you know what? Your
Make me a
original
nightmare
voice
for men like
wasn't
you.
far off, Chris.
Yeah,
That
it was pretty
Lamech
close.
said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice, you wives of Lamech. Give ear to my word, for I have killed a man for striking me, and a boy for wounding me. If Cain is avenged sevenfold, Lamech 77-fold.
That's
a
pretty good.
little bad at the end. Yeah.
This little song here is interesting because it kind of shows how everything's going to crap before the flood. And
Yeah.
compare this with Jesus being asked by Peter, how many times do I need to forgive someone?
Mm.
Right.
7 times. And he says, no, not 7 times,
77.
just 70 times 7. Yeah. And
Right.
so Cain is kind of like a reversal of the heart of Jesus here. I imagine all these people in this ancient part, they're kind of like Gilgamesh, kind of Nietzschean, the strong devour the weak. Would a reed pipe work for a marketplace for demons asking for a friend? That's how you incubate those eggs quick. You know what I'm saying? You get one of those eggs, you pull out that snake charmer. But once he hatches, he can charm his own snake because he's got something on each knee and he can just clap them together. And you won't even have to do it anymore.
Those who are part of Christian Gadfly's audience have no idea what that's about, and that's great. Right down your alley. Anyway, you got interrupted saying something profound by a penis joke.
The Satans have a vagina on one knee and a penis on the other. That's all that you need to know about that. It's in the Hadith. If you think I'm lying, if you think that's stupid, then take it up with the seal of the prophets because that came straight from him. So there's kind of like this Nietzschean strong devour the weak. It's kind of like Nimrod. I remember reading in the Epic of Gilgamesh, he like rapes a woman and defeats people, and then one of the gods is like, he's made in my image. And so the Bible's totally against that Nietzschean idea of the strong destroy the weak. And this is one specific example where Jesus says, don't forgive 7 times, but 70 times 7. And he's kind of saying the way of Cain was the opposite of what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are my thoughts on the midrash of, you talking about like Bereshit Rabbah? Because there's a variety of different midrashim. So Lamech killing Cain and Tubal Cain. I have not done that deep of dive on Tubal Cain. But there is a view where Cain is killed by Lamech. There's also a view in Bereshit Rabbah that Cain is killed by the flood, which I think Muhammad may have been confusing Cain for Noah's 4th son, Canaan. Interestingly, because Cain is killed in the flood, according to Bereshit Rabbah, and Canaan, and in Arabic, it's not that different of names. Canaan is also cursed by Allah, and he's part of like the disobedient sons, and he's identified as one of the sons that is killed in the flood in the tafsir. And I think what Muhammad is doing with that was combining Bereshit Rabbah with some other myth, and just
like he did with Mary,
head.
the brother of Aaron.
Yeah, he just confused them. Yeah.
The way Robert Alter translates this, he says, for a man have I slain for my wound, a boy for my bruising. And that's parallelism. And he says that it's to emphasize the fact that he's willing to kill even a boy.
Yeah, I remember. I've read that before.
Right.
He's kind of growing. Y'all misunderstood this. So I need a series from like, okay. All right. If Cain is avenged 7-fold, then Lamech 77-fold.
I don't think I could do it. So, because again, I get all caught up on how he's not.
Everybody else did it. You got to do it, Stephen.
Peer pressure.
Less excuses, more results. Less excuses, more results.
Okay, so one thing I did pick up on is he does the R's. He overdoes the R, so it'd be give ear.
He's Irish.
To my word.
Yeah, he's an Irish boy.
For I have killed a man for striking me, and a boy for wounding me.
Okay, now I'm just pissed off because you sat there and whined like this big day, and then you did like by far the best one of all of us, and it just makes me mad. I'm just angry.
We're kind of each other's foils, Chris, and that's kind of the characters we've picked up on this stream. We gotta
don't say that crap. Get Chase McWilson out of here.
You got more Irish than you got it. Yeah, make it more Irish. There you go. Okay, I need to attend to my own live stream at the moment.
Oh boy, now
I will be back.
We're gonna do a quick lesson in bagpiping.
No, we're not, because the baby's asleep. And if I pull those out right now, my wife will be divorcing me. I don't know if they're in here. I think they're upstairs anyway. They might be upstairs in the closet. She probably hid them. She probably doesn't want me to know where they are. But they're louder. They're louder than you expect them to be.
My dad bought this for me because I'd wanted one as a teenager, and he got it for me as a birthday present. And I would get in trouble for trying to learn it because this is also, I mean, this is a one pipe bagpipe. Your cheeks are the bags for this one. And so I'd always like be embarrassed I'd try to find a time where like maybe my dad would take my brothers to the store or something, and I'd go in the basement and play it. And because as soon as I start playing it, one out of the 3 of them would be like, "Oh, you're doing that right now." And I was like, well, I don't know how else to learn how to do it.
With bagpipes, you have a little thing called a practice chanter that's way more quiet, and I could pull that out and play that fine. That wouldn't wake up the baby.
Okay,
that's what you practice on to get really good, and then once you get good at that, then you try and go to the bagpipes. So that's a whole different can of worms because you have a bag under this arm, and you have the drones. You got to tune all those suckers, and then get it going. And
So are you to the
But
level where are you proficient on it, or
Yeah.
are you just oh really?
yeah. I was at a super competitive school that taught that.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to go into details and dox myself.
Yeah.
So I got a purely hypothetical question for you guys. If your 3-year-old boy, who's not quite potty trained yet, accidentally peed himself over a 25-pound bag of rice, jasmine rice,
Oh.
and it only soaked into the bottom of the bag, would you then continue to use the top of the bag until it started tasting funny, or would you toss the entire brand new 25-pound bag of rice?
I'm not going to
Right.
answer
Asking for a friend.
cream. I don't want people to
Hypothetical.
judge me.
Uh,
I've eaten out of garbage cans, people. I'm going to be real.
So, right. My poor wife's probably watching. I'm not gonna go into that, but with rice, it's very absorbent.
It is very absorbing.
It's like
yes.
kitty litter. So I would say
Yeah.
you might even be able to actually like see where that's a lot of rice.
The layers. That is a lot of rice, though.
And
to
I
be fair.
think the very bottom layer is gonna just be the one that's tainted and
Right. Yeah.
and
So,
and
the
also
top
though you
80% should be fine.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I would do. But
Definitely didn't happen to me. Yeah. No.
yeah, not that it ever would
Right.
happen to
Yeah.
you,
It's,
Chris.
Oh,
but-
so you
Truly
guys
happy
eat poop too, huh? Oh, me neither.
So then Adam knew his wife again, and she gave birth to a son and named him Seth. For she said, God has sent me another seed in place of Abel, for Cain killed him. And to him also a son was born, and he called his name Enosh. The men began to call upon the name of Yahweh. So pretty based stuff there. Seth means like appointed, or also to like ordain
To
or to set
put
in
something,
place.
right?
Mm.
Put something, yeah.
Click on it. Let me see the.
I don't think you can actually see it.
Is it just
you
a
can't.
shin?
Yeah,
Vav,
Sheen
Ha?
and
Oh,
just Sheen and Tao.
yes.
Shaith.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ooh, le shape.
To Seth. Yeah. It's just that. So it'd be more like Set. And Set, ironically, is the Egyptian god of destruction and evil and chaos and storms. So his name is actually the same name as like an Egyptian deity that like comes later on.
What's the lemma of that? Is there a vav in between the shin and the tav there?
I
Like
don't
if you're
think
looking
so.
at the normal form of the verb.
No, if anything, it would be a yod because of the vowel, the seder underneath. It would be Shaith with.
Sorry, in my head I just said it. Shit. The yod is an I class vowel. Sorry, that's probably not
it's a
how it would
yod.
be pronounced.
Yeah, I think it
that
only
is
ever
the
shows up.
lemma there.
Oh, does it? Oh, it does. So
Yeah.
sometimes it does have that then.
I do
You
in
said
fact
it's the
have
yod there in the lemma.
actually let me turn off the root. That might have been the root. That was the root, not the
Oh,
lemma.
okay.
The lemma is literally just shin tau.
Okay, so what's the root then?
The root is a shin yod tau.
Okay.
Which we won't let Christian pronounce out loud because
Yeah. So you could tell you're in the country whenever people use more of what's called a diphthong. A diphthong is when a vowel will bend
Right.
into another vowel.
Yeah.
And so I had a driving instructor when I was in high school, and he was more of a redneck than I am, big time. And I one time had to. I was driving past the library, and he was like, "You were supposed to turn right there." And I was like, "Oh crap!" And so I turned right, and he was just telling me, as in, we're going to turn back around or whatever. And I pulled that way. He had a bunch of empty ginseng tea cans, and they flew everywhere. And he goes, "Shit," and that's a diphthong to go from an e sound into "yut." Country people have more diphthongs, especially in their expletives, but they have more diphthongs in their words.
like
They also
dang,
sometimes just drop the vowels and do diphthongs with the consonants, which are pretty insane to my brain. So like fire, for example, my wife, who grew up in the deep deep south, she says far.
Fire.
So she
Just
had this
now-
expression of that burned a fire on me. Like,
Just
far-
now,
far.
Steven said damn, and he has that beard, and for a moment he looked like a Confederate general. That or he was about to fry some fried chicken.
Steve is just
That would be
radiating.
General Tso.
General so. Anyway,
Look
So,
where Eve
base-
is saying she has another seed. She's still longing for that Messiah figure, I bet.
mhm,
Except for me, another seed.
mhm. I'm assuming that's the exact same word used in Genesis 3.
Wait,
Zerah?
Shmoshet ki
Yeah, it is.
li Elohim zera. Yep.
No,
And ahar in tahat ahar, another seed in place of.
the seed that was taken.
Mm.
Pretty based. So she's looking for the Messiah. She's looking for the fulfillment to the prophecy, and she doesn't get it. Ultimately, she will get it through Jesus. That's a long time coming from right now. So we do get a lot of typology with Abel, though, and significantly lesser with Seth. So Abel was a shepherd, just as Jesus was a shepherd. He brought a lamb as a sacrifice. Jesus was the lamb to be sacrificed. He, through giving his sacrifice, he then caused the spurn of his brother. So he's hated by his brother without cause. Just as Jesus was hated by the Pharisees without cause, and the Pharisees in the typology of Joseph, which we'll get to, which will be super based. That typology, the brothers hate Joseph without cause, and they're representatives of the shepherds of Israel. So you have the brother hating him is representative of the Pharisees hating Jesus. You have Cain being jealous of his brother, and that's why he slew him, just as the Pharisees were jealous of Jesus, wanted his position, wanted his role as both God and Messiah, so they went out and slaughtered him. He did not die a natural death, but his life was taken, although Jesus gave his life up for it. He was the type of Messiah. Then Cain is like the false Messiah. So the false Messiah is killing the typology of the real Messiah, as I mentioned earlier. But he met a violent end. So he didn't just die unnaturally. He also met a violent end. He was murdered by his brother. You have he presented a true offering unto God that was a temple worthy offering. He offered the firstborn of his flock, a lamb, which was to be redeemed by the Lord. So the redemption sacrifice of Abel was accepted by God, and then the sacrifice we think we can bring as Cain was rejected by God. So the works of our hands that we give willy-nilly is rejected by God, and the work that was perfect given by Jesus was actually able to save us, actually able to redeem us. And he had faith. He walked with God faithfully, just as Christ did. He's described as having no sin in general. Granted, there's not much description of him, but him and Joseph are the two like sinless types of Christ in the Old Testament, where they do no bad action. Like Abraham is a sinner, Isaac is a sinner. So even like these types, and Moses is a sinner. So even these types that have like massive typologies of God, they're still extremely limited in. They're still sinners, but Abel was a sinless servant of God who was sacrificed, killed out of jealousy by his brothers, and Joseph was a sinless servant of God who was imprisoned unjustly, killed because he served a sentence of someone who would die in that prison cell, and he also served it with two people by him. And the Joseph typology is awesome, man. That's gonna be like a 6-hour stream. I can already feel it. Or it's gonna be 2 streams. I did that typology with Tommy, and it was just me and him and Call. We went over 13 chapters of Genesis, and it was 6 hours of just going through the typology between Joseph and Jesus, because it's so deep.
Yeah.
Like a third of Genesis is just that typology, and
Mhm.
it's amazing. It's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, lots of cool things. Typology is based. You should study it. But, yeah. So Any other thoughts about Genesis 4 before we move on?
I might go to bed here in a minute because I'm so tired.
Yeah.
But I lasted
You're
a little
very
longer
consistent.
Huh?
You're very consistent.
Do I always fizzle out around 10:15?
Yeah, just about, yeah.
Because
We
I
started a
was
little bit late. We started 30 minutes late, and then usually like fizzle out right around like 2 hours, 10 minutes into it. And right now we're at 1 hour and 40 minutes into it. So that's like the 30-minute difference there.
I'm just getting so tired I can't even think anymore. If you miss me and you're like, it just feels like it's missing something since he left, somebody just say something about pee pee or say something about poo poo.
He would do that.
Yeah.
And-
It sounded like I died or something.
This is what he would have wanted.
Now
this is his final wish for us on our stream. Yeah.
All right. I love you
Um,
guys. Thank you for having me on.
For those watching on his channel, you can still watch, by the way. So this is not going to end until I hit the end button for him. Just so everyone is aware of the situation.
Good night, Kristen.
How did you learn all the typology? Just read the Bible and think about in detail how this might represent Christ. So you think about all the facts, the who, what, whens, wheres of that person, and then you just do it. I have a list of over like right around 100 types of Christ in the Old Testament.
I would say that the Holy Spirit kind of throws
Yeah,
it
that too.
to your knowledge too while you're going through it. Because obviously, we're biased, but we would say that it was always there. It was intended to be there for us to notice. And
Mhm.
I think it's one of those things that you just really do once you know Jesus, you go back and it just kind of jumps out at you so many things.
Right.
Just very cool. I mean, to the point where you're reading, you're like, oh wow. I mean, like even tonight where I don't remember if it was Chris or Christian who pointed out
Mm.
Eve's seeming like hope for the Messiah
Yeah.
in her children, and I had never noticed that before. And then all of a sudden you point out, and you're like, oh yeah, that's very very interesting, and seems very
Yeah.
apparent.
It does, especially because she uses the same word for seed. So she's like,
Mhm.
this is the seed that was given. So she's like looking forward to what was being given by
Right.
God. Yeah. But so polyamory, alimony, polyny alimony. Anyway,
Bologna
what are your
alimony.
thoughts on the 130 years of the age of Seth when 100? So Moses was 120 when he died.
Mhm.
Not 130. 130, I
He
believe,
was
is Joseph. 130 is one of the dates, one of the ages. I think it was either Joseph or not Jacob. Jacob was in the 200s, I think. I want to say it's Joseph that died at 130. We could just go straight down to.
that does sound, I think it is Joseph. Yeah, it definitely wasn't Moses. Moses was 120
Right.
when he died, and he was he was 80 when he was 40 when he left Egypt. I think he was 80 when he went
Mm-hmm.
back.
Mm-hmm. So he has 3 periods of 40 in his life,
Mm.
and 40 is an interesting number. That gets into the Moses typology. And
Mhm.
every period of 40, he goes through a different facet of life. So the first 40 years of his life, he is in the palace experiencing godly pleasure and goodness. He then gives up that godly pleasure and goodness to save the life of a slave who you wouldn't even have considered human by Egyptian standards. So he basically gave up his godhood for a slave, and then he lived as a shepherd for 40 years, leading the flock of his father. And then he gave that up to follow God and then became a servant and a king and a priest for 40 years. So we have like all the aspects of Jesus and his roles within the 3 different segments of Moses's life. And 40 itself is the number for trial and testing and perseverance and all those things. And it's like there's a whole lot of symbolism within the 3 divisions of Moses and his life. But as for the number 130, it was viewed, if I'm remembering correctly, that number is viewed symbolically as the number of completeness. So he lived a full life in Egypt is the idea. When Joseph died at 130, he lived a full life. Oh no, he's 110. Who was 130? Is one of the patriarchs. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Who died at 130 in the Bible? Jehoiada, the high priest. Is that it? Maybe it was 110 then. I was just conflating the two. It must have been because nothing else is coming up. So 110 is the symbolic number there. That is the teaching that I went through is that Joseph, the reason why 110 is used here symbolically is it's the number of a completeness. So Joseph was complete in his life in Egypt. He lived all the life he could live. He had a perfect type of life in there. Okay. I'm now rereading what you said. Jacob came into Egypt at 130, and Moses was born 130 years into the Egyptian exile.
Okay.
So it'd be 130 years later, he was then born to be released. That doesn't math to me.
Yeah, because wasn't
Because 430 years was the total time spent in. So he would be born in the year 390. So it'd be 3 130s later. From that, if I'm doing my math right, he was kicked out at 390, and then he returned at 430 to then redeem Israel out of it. But no, I haven't thought about that. I've never noticed that. So if you think like if you've been taught something about that, feel free to put that in the chat. But anyway, so Hussar has put up a bunch of Madam Morris. He's brought up a bunch of things on the names from Genesis 5. So we'll go through that. This is the interesting thing. So this age here is actually, if you believe in the young Earth, this is how you can calculate when Seth was born. And 6,000 years ago would have been, so like 6,000 years after Seth being born, based on that time scale, even though there is around 250 years missing from the Jewish calendar, it gives you anywhere from like 2089 AD to like 2400 AD. So there is a view of people who believe in the 6,000 year like prophecy of 6,000 year of sin and then 1,000-year reign of Christ to match the Sabbath week. And then you get a little bit into like dispensationalist ideology with each of those 1,000 years is a different dispensation of 1,000 years of human being evil and wicked, and then 1,000 years, and then 1,000 years, 1,000 of them. And it's also interesting that Jesus came right at the year 0. Now we're 2,000 years later, and then 0 is 4,000 years after creation, and you get it's a whole thing. People have done a lot of work on that. I'm not entirely convinced by it, but it is at least an interesting view that is not entirely insane. Unless you're an old Earth person, then it is entirely insane.
Right.
Unless you are old Earth, but the ages of humanity is only 6,000 years, which some people do hold to. And you can still hold to that. So you'd still have 6,000-year reign of man, 1,000-year reign of Christ with 1 billion years of time in the earth. Anyway, not going to go too deep into the ages of all the people or the symbolic meaning of all the ages of people. One thing I will point out now is every single time we see an age in the section, it is divisible by 7, which is weird. It's divisible by 7 if you add or subtract 5, I think it is, or it's add or subtract 7. No, wait. Everything is divisible by 5 if you add or subtract 7 is the thing. So 807, you subtract 7, it becomes 800, it's divisible by 5. 912, you subtract 7, it becomes 905, it's divisible by 5. And 90 is already divisible by 5, 105 is divisible by 5, 800 is divisible by 5. So all of these are very rounded numbers from their system. So even though these look semi-random to us, these would be essentially round numbers. So if I were to say, hey, My son is 10, my daughter is 20, I'm 30, my wife is 40, my father is 50, my mom's 60. That would be kind of weird to you, not just because of the time gaps between them, but because everything's very round. And even the number 12 is a round number in this counting system because they count using their knuckles. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this last knuckle is the 12th knuckle, then you would count with this. So the full, both your hands combined is 144. So half of that's 72. So anytime you see 72 in the Bible, you see 12 in the Bible, you see 60 in the Bible, you see 144 in the Bible, it's significant because it's a round number in their counting system. So if I wanted to count to like 72, I would just do like that. This would be like 73. So this would be 72. So 73, 74, 75, 76, 77. Like, so you know your 12s basically, and you would just count by 12 on the other hand, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, it's 144. So because of that, you have a lot of stuff with 7 being the number of God, 5 being important because we have 5 appendages, and there's lots of symbolic usage of all of these numbers. Now, that being said, it can also be both and. It can be that it is symbolic because it appears to be symbolic, everything's rounded, or it could be literal, or it could be both. It is God ordaining these numbers to happen in a way that is unique, that then creates rounded numbers. It's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Also, 969. It's like, oh, it's divisible by. Actually, that one doesn't work for divisible by 5, but it is divisible by 9 or 7, I believe. I think 969 is divisible like 3. What is that? 969 divisible by 7. Nope. Oh,
And that's the oldest age recorded, isn't it? Methuselah.
Methuselah, yeah. So Adam is 960, Methuselah is 969, and then it goes down. So you could say that this is all symbolic, or you can say it's literal, or you can say it's a combination therein. And they did care a lot about numbers and numerology and all that stuff. Like numbers have meaning. Granted, this is like shlosh, like shloshim is 30. So you have you can still count in numbers in Hebrew, despite what some people may think. It's not all gematria. You don't use gematria to count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can do math in gematria. You can do like if you wanted to count for 130 in gematria, you can very easily. That doesn't mean that you have to. So all of the numbers given here is not done in gematria. It's done in literally just the Hebrew counting system to burst people's bubbles. Now, there is some gematria in the Bible. It's not here. But my view, for those who are curious, is this is probably because I lean towards young Earth. If the young Earth is true, I would say this is literal and symbolic. So I would do a both and. Because there is obviously some symbolism happening in here, but it also follows a nice little curve for mutation rates and some really interesting biology stuff of like maybe all of the inbreeding is causing all these defects, and it's pretty interesting. But this is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day when God created man, he made him in the likeness of God. He created them male and female and blessed them and named them man in the day when they were created. When Adam lived 130 years, he became the father of his son in his own likeness according to his image and named him Seth. Now you can say that this is just because Seth followed Adam, but why would this not be said of Abel? So you could say, oh, this is just part of a typology, or it's just saying that this is the lineage that is important because this is both the lineage that survives the flood and it's the lineage in which the seed will come through. Then the days of Adam after he became the father of Seth were 800, and he became the father of other sons and daughters. So all the days of Adam lived were 930 years, and he died, accounting for Hebrew versus Gregorian. This is around 913 years old. So still super old dude, still 900 years. I had one person, I'm not going to name names because they could watch the stream. I don't think they ever will. I doubt they watch my content. But I was doing a Bible study with them.
So they're a real jerk.
No, I'll tell you off the stream. You'll laugh after. So I was going through this. I was explaining how this could be possible through biology. Like lobsters are biologically immortal because they can do something called telomerase. They can, in our DNA, there's telomeres, which are little segments of blank genetic code, not code, but like base information. So it's like essentially blank code or blank segments of the DNA sequence that are just used to replace errors in the tandem repeats or errors in the encoding for any of the protein encoding regions. If there's anything messed up in your system, it'll use some of your telomeres, cut it off, resplice it in, and then code it correctly, which is pretty awesome. And it's also how you avoid cancer on a daily basis. Your body uses it to fix any errors in your genome that are happening, which is why if you do things that are cancerous, you go through a process of telomere shortening where you age rapidly. So you people who smoke from the time they're 5, they look like they're in their 40s whenever they're 15. That is from telomere shortening. That's because they're getting cancer every week of their life, and their body's killing the cancer and then replacing it with this process, which happens a lot. Yeah, telomere repair 25 years away. We'll see, man. If telomere repair is as effective as lobsters, we can theoretically live forever.
That's why I feel like that kind of knowledge for humans is going to be like another Tower of Babel moment. I don't know that God would allow us to
Right.
to get
Who
to
knows?
that point.
Right. If we actually could repair telomeres and had good nutrition, there's no reason why biologically we can't live to be 10,000 years old. It's kind of crazy. Like lobsters can, they just choose to die, which is also crazy. Like lobsters don't have a life expectancy. They eventually just get, because every year they molt and they get bigger every time they molt. So there's a lobster that lived to be like in their hundreds and it just gave up because it takes so much. Like once you get, I can show a picture of
I
it.
think everybody can relate.
It is the lobster that holds the record. This is not actually the lobster. I think it's like Big Tony was the name of it. They named it oldest lobster ever. It was 140 years old. It was named George, and it is like the size of a human. It's insane how big these things can get. And they just keep going and keep going and keep going. It was, let's see if I can get an estimate on its size. It weighed 20 pounds.
That's a
which
big
might not seem
bug.
like a lot. That's a big lobster. It's a very big lobster. Basically, what happens is they can molt, and whenever they molt too much, it takes so much effort to get out of their shells. They just don't go through the effort, and then they end up basically not suffocating, but like constricting their bodies in their own shell. So they have like a snake-like constriction that are rupturing their organs that just kills them. So they don't die of old age; they die of boredom.
Sadness.
Because lobsters can become depressed, so they just decide to stop molting and they just die, or they die due to they can't be bothered, which is awesome. Antidepressants work on lobsters, and that's also a really fun fact. So I'm sure if you were to give old George there some antidepressants, he might have molted a couple more times.
Maybe teach him golf.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. But this is, so it's the thing. Like, if we could fix, like, lobsters that just have that function normally. If we could do what lobsters do, there's no reason why we couldn't live forever. Because you would stop aging, essentially. Like you age slightly in your like 20s, 30s, but you're not aging that much. Whenever your
Mhm.
telomeres run out, you age drastically, which is why
Yeah.
Asians typically live longer and look healthier the whole time. Is because they do less activities that cause telomere shortening, and they do activities that cause telomeres. We can artificially do it, and we can, slightly force ourselves to do it a little bit. Also, that's a huge lobster. That's a massive lobster, my guy. What's the normal weight of lobsters? It's like what, 3 pounds? Weight of lobsters, which is why their meat is so expensive. 1 to 2 pounds. So
Okay.
okay, so for like a body size comparison, let's say 2 pounds is a normal, just because that's easy math. He's 10 times heavier than a normal lobster. If a normal human is around 150 pounds, that would be a 1,500 pound human. For like your mental comparison of how stupidly large that lobster was. Anyway.
Ew, yeah. Wow,
So,
that's a gross bug. That's a real
yeah, yeah,
gross
yeah,
looking.
yeah, yeah.
But respect,
So we
you
can,
got to respect him. You got to respect George.
yeah.
He was the
Georgie
most,
boy.
one could argue he was the most positive lobster of all the lobsters because he stuck around the longest. Either that or he
Yeah.
was the least tastiest of all the lobsters.
I have no idea. I wonder if like the inner meat, because again, he would have like layers to meat to him. He's the size of a small dog, like he's a medium-sized dog
Yeah.
in weight. I wonder what he would taste like. And just
Ugh.
because the older animals are typically tougher because they've
Yeah.
lived longer and they're so most of the meat we eat is less than a year old in the world. Um, Sorry for any of the people who care about baby animals. We eat baby animals primarily. Um, so all cows you eat or they're eaten at like 12 to 18 months old. Same with chicken. Chicken is eaten very, very quickly, like months. Um, that's whenever they're the most tender. So they just eat a bunch of really fatty foods to grow real big, real quick, and then kill them. So, but that makes them yummy. So it
And
is
for
what it
that,
is.
we are thankful.
Yeah. So anyway, 3 years for cow, he says. Yeah, they're all baby, like infant or toddler-esque type animals whenever we eat them. Because that's when they're yummy, because otherwise their bones rub too much and then it gets tough and nasty. So we discovered eating babies was nice, which is why veal exists, which is real young baby cow. But yeah, then they're not cost effective. Anyway, long tangent aside, biologically, there's no problem whatsoever with humans living to be 800 years old. None whatsoever. As long as we have one change, which is the ability to to lengthen our telomeres, not just keep them stagnant, but to lengthen them like lobsters do. If we can do that, I could be a 2,000-year-old person, no problem. So it might just be that they had this ability, and 1,000 is roughly the limit with that ability, or it could be that they were just significantly like they were shortened at a much slower rate because of a cleaner environment. There's no like carcinogenics around, so there's no reason to use your telomeres
Mhm.
or a combination therein. Better
And
quality
being in
DNA,
a
less repeats. Yeah,
vegetarian diet too, uh,
right,
with just the everything in its creation state of being very good.
right.
Because we do
Jonathan,
see
if
after the
you are
flood.
on
Oh,
Christian's
sorry.
channel, you should come sub to my channel too. Because the channel you're on right now is not my channel.
We
That's
don't
Christian
get
Grandpa's
tired
channel,
over
who
here.
left. Yeah, I don't get tired here. I make sleep for me. I don't know.
We're
I get
burning up
anyway,
all our cells for you guys' benefit over here. Christian's over there. He's gonna live to 140 and
yeah. Um. Anyway, I got distracted, and it's 11, so my brain is dying. Uh, it also doesn't help. I've already been on camera for an extra hour today, recording a
yeah.
video.
That
But
one time we streamed though, that was after you had streamed like several hours with Israel Horowitz that afternoon, and you had recorded like 2 or 3 videos that day, and then you and me did a stream into the evening, and
that
it
was terrible, man.
yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. There was one day last month, or no, it was in January. I was on camera for 10 hours.
I think it was that day. I
It
think
was
that's the
that
day I'm
day.
talking. Yeah.
Don't do that. That's not
Yeah.
a good idea. Yeah. Anyway, so Ptolemy brought up that the Mesopotamian kings also had people living for a long time before the flood.
Mhm.
Egypt has it as well. If you look at
Mhm.
Egypt's founding kingdoms, they all live to be hundreds of years old, and they're counted as gods.
Mhm.
So it's interesting that all of these people that are gods or worshipped, that are like human or like demigods, like, but imagine, Noah lives, not Noah, Shem lives to meet or to be alive at the time of Abraham.
Mhm.
Abram. So I think it's like 12 generations of people. So it's your great 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 grandkid was alive and you're alive still. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. But pretty neat. And then they're like, oh yeah, my great 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 granddad is still alive and kicking. He's telling me stories of the flood.
Right.
Then people are worshiping him as God. Like,
Right.
I could get why you'd be worshiping him as God if you've already fallen away from God and like the Tower of Babel incident happened, because he was alive for a while after the Tower of Babel.
Mhm.
So even with that, you then have all of this culture and history and all that other stuff coming out of it, which is interesting. Anyway, I probably won't read this whole section just because it's not super relevant. I'll read the parts that I think I like and are relevant. One thing I like to know is that just because this is the year that they fathered that person in the genealogy doesn't mean that's the firstborn. It just
Mhm.
means that's how old he was whenever he fathered Enosh. He could have fathered a kid at 30. He could have fathered a kid at 15. We have no idea. We just know how old he was whenever he fathered Enosh. And we know how old Enosh was whenever he fathered Kenan. We know how old he was whenever he fathered Mahalo. And whenever he fathered Jared, and then Jared became the father of Methuselah, or no, Enoch, and then Enoch became the father of Methuselah, and then Methuselah became the father of not Noah, but Noah's dad, Lamech, and then Lamech became the father of Noah. We'll go through those names in a bit. And so you have those, I think it's like 8 names or so there, which is pretty neat. And then there is this idea, or 10 names. There's this idea that each of those names has a meaning. So like Adam is Adma, it's man. Seth is appointed or set over. Enosh means mortal or to die. Canaan means sorrow or sorrowful. Mahalal is the blessing of or the blessed God. For like halal El, if El is God there. So Mahal is the blessed God. Jared is to come down, descend.
Mhm.
Enoch is to teach. Methuselah means the spearman, but it can also mean his death shall bring, for according to them. I'm so the only reason why I don't actually use this specific thing as a prophecy of Jesus is
Mhm.
because some of the names have other possible meanings as well. So if you want to
Right.
say that Methuselah's name only could mean his death shall bring, because you can split the word into 2 different roots. If you take it
Methuselah,
as
yeah.
so the Methuselah is
His
death.
death.
Um,
Shelah
yeah,
he sends.
his death shall send. Yeah. But you can also say he's a spearman.
Mhm.
So, right. Then you have Lamech, which means despairing. And I think there's a couple other versions of Lamech as well. Let's see if Logos has some of them. It does not. It just straight up doesn't. Thanks. Thanks. Appreciate that. See if it has any of the meanings here. It does not. Logos is really great sometimes, and it's really not great other times, and there's like no in between. But you have Lamech, that means maybe the despairing, and Noah obviously means rest.
Mhm.
So if you put the 10 names together, you kind of get Adam, Seth, Enosh, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah. And it's like man was given mortal sorrow, or like given death, so that the blessed God will come down or will be sent down to teach, and that God's death will bring rest.
Mm.
So you can get like a sense of humans sinned, which brings death, and then God will come down to restore us into life. And it's like, oh, it's a pseudo prophecy of Jesus, which is cool and it definitely could be, but it could also be translated in other ways that doesn't work as well. So it's kind of like the better sheets thing, where
Mhm.
better sheet could mean, Jesus, all that. That show might did not show it. Okay. It could mean, the Son of God will have his hands destroyed on the cross, or you could just say, like, literally, head, house, uh, ox, going through better sheet in my head,
Yeah.
teeth, hand, cross. Like, you could just say, like, it's just one of those things, one after the other, after the other, after the other. You don't have to actually assign meaning to it. But if you do assign meaning to it, you could get a prophecy of Jesus. If you assign meaning to the genealogy of Genesis 5, you could get a prophecy of Jesus. It's a little forced. I think this is cool. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do in the Hebrew. I would never use this as an argument for Jesus,
Right.
especially to a Jew.
Right.
I just wouldn't. Now it's cool. You can share it like Bible study. Like, hey, God's really cool. This could be a thing that was planned. It could also be something that's not planned. But yeah, interesting things to note. Enoch, there's a story of Enoch. He only lived 365 years on the planet, one for each day of the year, and then Enoch was taken. You have some typology of Enoch, which is pretty based, such as he like walked faithfully with God. He was
Mm.
caught up into heaven while alive. He ascended. He knew God personally, had a relationship with the Father. There was a promise against death, if you want to take that story as literal, where there's a story of Enoch was a preacher of righteousness, and he was prophesied over that his son would not taste the destruction of man that God had promised. So God told Enoch that the flood would come, and then Enoch was like, please don't do that, God. And then God withheld the flood until Methuselah passed. So if you look at the genealogy of this, and you look at when the flood happened, Methuselah died like 6 months before the flood came, which is pretty spectacular coincidence. It's either coincidence or that story actually has some basis to reality.
Mm.
Either way, Methuselah died right before the flood. He's one of the last people, and I think he was the last person of the genealogy of this time period that died before the flood instead of dying in the flood. So Methuselah was spared. He's the son of Enoch, and Enoch was ascended directly into heaven. So you have some slight typology, little mini typology of Jesus there. And then some people believe Enoch became like Metatron,
Okay.
which I think is hilariously stupid myself. But again, I'm not a rabbi. I don't hold to Metatron. I don't hold to the scribes in heaven. I don't hold to most of that stuff. So I think even the ideas of it are a little silly. I can see why people would think about it. I can see why people would bring that up. Yeah, as Pauline just brought up, Enoch becomes an angel in rabbinic literature and becomes a teacher of children in heaven. Yeah, so he's a teacher, just as Christ is a teacher. So again, you can use the rabbinic version, still do typology, which is kind of fun. But he becomes Metatron, and then you get in the Talmud, right after a super base passage of Rabbi Akiva, basically pointing to Jesus being God, and he gets made fun of for doing it. Then they're like, "Oh, well, you're worshiping Metatron because he's sitting in the presence of God and recording the deeds of the divine council. So that would like elevate him to the status of Yahweh." And I think that's just silly. I think the whole Metatron thing is very silly. We have no reason to believe it. Unless you want to go down all of the like Enochian worldview stuff with like Michael Heiser. I personally never subscribed to it. I think Michael Heiser did a lot of really wonderful things for the body, including logos. He is deeply involved with creating the software. I am not very impressed by some of the stuff that he came up with. Personally, I've never felt conviction or the weight of some of the augmentation. Super awesome dude. Not saying anything against him. I'm not super on board with some of the conclusions he draws in the unseen realm.
Hmm.
But if people are interested, I'll eventually go over that, whatever. But yeah. Yes. I think that's it. Lamech lived 750 years and he died, and Noah was 500 years old and became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So he didn't have triplets, more than likely. So this would be part of the evidence for the years which the sons are born are not necessarily relevant to what all is happening. The 500 years old right here is relevant to the flood. It's not necessarily relevant to these three.
Yeah.
It is relevant in the rabbinic literature, which talks about how he had his testicles removed by his son.
Oh.
Yeah. So Noah was castrated by Ham in the rabbinic version of the story.
Okay.
Yeah. And possibly also by Canaan. So Canaan participated, like Ham grabbed string and wrapped it around while he was drunk and pulled it to like snip him off. And then Canaan came in and laughed at it. That's the rabbinic idea. That's one of the rabbinic ideas. There's multiple ideas, but they ultimately kind of, boil down to Noah was not circumcised. He was more than circumcised. He was castrated by Ham, and because of that, Ham was cursed. Some say he was cursed with black skin because of fornication on the ark. Bro, how did they even come up with that? Yeah, dude, it's yeah. If you saw my video on the Talmudic dilemma with the fourth son, I go over a lot of that stuff. Yeah, that's why Canaan is the fourth son, and he's why he's cursed. Yeah. That is indeed one of the cases, yes. That is the view. But I guess we could start with this just because it's related, and we'll probably end it with the beginning of 6 before the flood narrative comes in. I don't know. Actually, I might save some of it for Christian Gadfly, because I'm sure he's going to talk about the Nephilim, especially because he follows Michael Heiser. So I think we'll have a interesting conversation with that. Well, I'm not sure if he follows him, but he's at least read the Unseen Realm, so we can talk about that. So now it happened when men began to multiply on the face of the land, the daughters were born to them. But the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were good in appearance. They were literally hot or sexy. They were tovots. So feminine, good in appearance. Good to behold, I believe. And then they took wives for themselves, whomever they chose. And Yahweh said, "My spirit shall not strive with man forever, because he is indeed flesh. Nevertheless, his days shall be 120 years." So this would be the point, I would say personally, that the telomerase was removed from humanity and we're no longer able to live that long. We also have a broken gluoreceptor in our genome. And the gluoreceptor is responsible for creating vitamin C in animals. So the vast majority of animals have a working version of it. Humans and rodents, and I think chimpanzees, are the animals that do not have working receptors, which is why they can all get scurvy. You need vitamin C to not get scurvy. You need vitamin C to stay alive. It may have been during this period of time we had that working. So not only could we have done telomerase, we also had working automatic vitamin C generation. So you would have a healthier immune system in general, less likely to die from disease in general. So that may have been involved. So you may have done multiple things to our genome during the flood in that incest stage. Whenever it's down to 8, just like if you believe in a universal flood of all humans died other than those 8, you could say, well, those 8 had a broken gluoreceptor and also were no longer able to do telomerase, which is why their generations after them died rapidly. They rapidly descended into lower and lower ages until you get to Joseph, who died at 110. So this is definitely a possible reading of it. That's how I think most young Earth people do read it. And even if you're old Earth, you can still read it this way. There's nothing prohibiting you from believing people live to be 1,000+ years. Especially because we are getting close to being able to do that now scientifically, like with our technology. My voice is failing. My mouth is failing me. I keep stumbling over my tongue. Technologically, we're able to do gene splicing. We're able to fix all of these things in our bodies that are broken. So, pretty cool. We will eventually, hopefully soon, reach the point in which we can just live forever. Granted, I think Jesus is going to come back before anyone lives to be like 1,000 years old. But we're basically there, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like, our kids will be in the generation that might not age past the age of 30.
Unless we do what humans have been known to do and screw it all up and like nuke the planet or something. And I really have an expectation
Yeah,
that the closer we get to anything like that, like I
the
said
worst
earlier,
humans will
kind of
be.
like the Tower of Babel situation where God's like, no, sorry guys, like you can't, you're not allowed. We all know how this is going to go, and so I have to step in and make sure you don't get your way, because
It's pretty likely we just screwed up.
yeah.
Yeah. That's unfortunately absolutely true. hmm But okay, I think I'm gonna actually call it there.
Mhm.
Especially because my tongue is literally seizing up right now, and it's very hard for me to talk
I can hear you
articulately.
struggling, and it would be good to cut it
Uh,
now before you completely blow it out, and you have some left to recover for tomorrow.
my voice will be fine. It's just the tongue. The tongue is like in pain. It hurts to speak right now. So, get any final thoughts? Any last questions for people in the chat? Any final thoughts, Stephen, on the stuff we went over today?
No, I think we did a lot of tangent stuff, but we were able to come back in time where, what is this now? We're probably about 2.5 hours.
Two
That's pretty
hours,
good for
23
us,
minutes. Yeah.
considering how much we spider webbed off into different things. I think we did pretty good. We might be getting good at this, Chris.
How to follow me? You can just go to my channel, Defending a Line. That's my icon.
And his
So
address is no.
you need to come over. We'll talk about that in a bit, but yeah. So if you want to check out my channel, for those who are watching on Christian Gadfly's channel, go to that. And if you're watching on Christian Gadfly's channel, or if you're watching on my channel, go to his channel, give him some love. Yeah, he's a sleepy boy, but he's a awesome brother. So love y'all. God bless. Absolutely. All right. Okay, we're gonna call it there. Goodbye to Christian Gadfly's channel. Peace. And then yeah, may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit with you always. Goodbye.